What is up, Friday Nighters? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Friday Night. Did you think that we weren't going to be here? Did you think we were snowed
in?
A
snowstorm was going to stop us? We have enough willpower to survive.
Exactly. And guys, if you're wondering who this time the man in the middle is, we have Albert Olivarez in the house. This is the man who I always talk about does our music. If you're listening to just the audio version of our show on Spotify or iTunes or Google Podcasts, any of those places, you always hear our intro music, which is really rad, and I got to figure out how to get it here onto the video version, and when I do, then you'll get to hear it. But Albert cut that together for us. Albert, say what's up to the Friday Night Faithful and all the Friday Nighters.
Guys, how you guys doing?
Guys, we had to bring in Albert for our special episode today. We needed an expert, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But right now, I want to let everyone kind of join the Facebook Live broadcast. Remember, guys, hit us up with your comments. We always love it when you comment and join in on the conversation. Tell us what happened to you this week. If you're here with us in Texas, was everything okay? Are you okay now? Did you survive the fallout of the storm? We all each had our individual experiences. Mm-hmm. Albert, what was going on with you at your place, man?
Oh, man, we had to leave the place. We had to leave our house because for 48 hours or so, like, we did not have power. We were cold and everything, and thank God for our aunt.
Yeah,
she had power and everything.
Right on, man.
So we went over there by Lackland off of 410 and Military. That's where my aunt lives, and yeah, thank God she had power. She had water. She had everything.
That's great.
Wi-Fi.
That's great. Did you lose water too at your house?
No, we had water and gas.
No,
it was just no power,
and that's good that you had gas at least.
Yeah.
But here's the kind of guys we're here. We survived, right? We made it to Friday night. We're ready to have some. I'm going to toast with these gentlemen. Toast some cold drinks because shit, we made it. Mm-hmm. But a funny thing Albert had told me, we talked on the phone. Everyone checking on each other. And he goes, on my side of town, he said, all the Mexican restaurants are open, but they have power and everything, and they're making food, and all the houses don't have power. He goes, I go to my aunt's house. He goes, all the restaurants are closed, but all the houses have power. So I got to drive across town to get some food or whatever. They come
HEB, the gas, the pumps were running, the Mexican restaurants were open. Dude, the taco trucks were up and running.
I mean, it should have been prime time for them, right? This is when they
the lines were long.
They're self-sufficient.
I go to my aunt's house, like, where's everybody?
There you go, man. See, guys, also don't forget Double A in the house as always, co-hosting alongside me. It's not the same when we're all here together hanging in there. Guys, this is your time to join us in the beginning. Send us your comments. Tell us your stories. Like I said, we got a few here coming in already. Our lovely cousin Let in the house. She says, hello, handsome guys. Let, how are you doing? I think your power is back. I'm glad. I know you didn't want to travel the roads, and that's good to stay safe. But we're glad that you're okay. Rich in the house. Rich, what's up, my man?
Nice seeing you again.
Joe says it was a rough week, but we endured. Joe, glad cheers to you, to all that endured. And Rich says, we were out of power about 3 days. Ooh, that's a long one. Had to go to your bro's house. Had power and water. Was a blessing. Glad everyone is safe now. Yes, glad that you guys have power and your power to be here with us for the show. Yeah. We debated not doing the show, but we said, guys need the Friday night, just another Friday night more than ever right now. On a cold night still, but not as bad as it was earlier in the week. So we survived it, guys. But
I'll take this freeze now.
Yeah, right now a lot nicer, right? Yeah, you got to drive, you got to go to work today.
Yeah. I was in shorts. So
I'm blessed. I got to the ability to work from home all week when I did have internet and power. It went out one day. I think we're pretty close, me and Double A, where we live, so we experienced the kind of same power surge. We lost it for about an hour. It came back on. We were like, oh, that's it. And then a day later, we lost it for like an entire day. It was like, you got little ones in the house and me too, whatever. So it's like they were like not having it without the technology. But
I want to say thank you to my brother. He actually had to work all week. Yeah. He went in like at 6 at night and would do full shifts. He didn't come back home until 4 a.m. Yeah. There was one day he actually did a 12-hour shift. Putting dirt on the bridges. He had to sleep in his truck one day.
Yeah.
Trying to find food at gas stations.
Yeah.
Which he said got hit up real bad. So he was just grabbing whatever he could at nighttime to eat. And But my brother was out there. He was out there. He was pouring dirt all over the bridges, all over the highways.
Right on.
So he was out there.
To you, boy. We appreciate you, man.
On Sunday, on Valentine's Day, he went out there. And all week, he's just been out there. So he's been, and he says it's bad. He said it was bad. Slippery, frozen, snow, everything. But he did it. He went out there. So
and they're telling everyone not to travel the roads. Yeah. Cheers to you, boy. We really appreciate you, brother. Boy. Thank you so much, man. And it's an unsung hero. We have begun to recognize, obviously, our first responders, and we've begun to recognize, our grocery store workers and even fashion workers. But guys, the people that are working for, your city, county, state too, that are doing those type of public jobs, you tell them to stay off the road. They don't have a choice. They got to be on the road, man. They got to be doing the little bit they can, because some ambulances still have to get on the road, whether they want to or not. But somebody's got to make those roads safe. You know what I mean?
And he was out there.
Man. Kudos to the people that are working public works as well, because they're doing a duty too. CPS, SAWS, obviously. People have mixed feelings right now, but you shouldn't, because the people that are doing those jobs are doing the best they can. But obviously there's powers that be that maybe didn't do the right things, but we'll only know when time tells. But in the meantime, looks like some more comments rolled on, and we're going to go ahead and read that. Rich also said, glad to be here as well. Looking forward to the show. Cool. Cheers, Rich. Yes, Richard. Glad to have you, man. Let says, love you, Let. We love you too. Let's see.
Said, thank you, big guy. Thank you, Let.
Yes. Thanks to boy. Appreciate it, man. Mom in the house. What's up, Mom? Glad you're here, Mom. Mom, I'm not seeing your little emojis when we're on this new software. It doesn't come in. So I'll have to check that emoji out later on the Facebook.
Oh, portion. She said she's in the house. So that's always nice to see.
StreamYard.
Good. Thanks, good. Yeah. Guys. So let's just get right to some of the stuff that happened this week. Besides a crazy ass snowstorm, I know we were kind of all in and out of power and didn't have access to all of our internet, social media stuff. But was there anything pop culture wise that you guys?
Yeah. So we saw finally the trailer for the Justice League.
That's right.
On Valentine's Day, it popped up a full trailer. What do you guys think?
Man, I'll let you go first.
I'm intrigued. I'll watch it and everything. Hopefully it's way better than the version we saw.
You weren't a huge fan of that first, and I know.
I was like this close to walking out of the theater.
Whoa, that's rough.
I had to find out how it ends, but I suffered.
Yeah. I know sometimes some things are a hard watch. Now let me ask you: Justice League or Batman v Superman? You got to go to a desert island, and you get to watch one of them only for the rest of your day.
I'll take that Superman.
Okay, all right, that's a good answer. I'm now putting you under the gun. That's rough, but
that's really rough.
On Justice League, the version we saw, you could tell the influence of what was Zach and what was Josh.
It was definitely I don't even know how to describe it. I didn't truly hate it. There were just things that I was okay with. I was like, I was okay with this. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? But then there were other things that I was like, oh, this is really bad.
It was like doing your homework. You started, and then you're like, oh, copy and paste from the internet. Like, I'm going to put this together, put that. Like, hopefully it flows together and everything.
So it had to be a little bit rougher for you, right, Albert? Because, you're our resident DC guy. You know what I mean? We're me and Double A, guys, this. We love our DC characters too, certain ones, and other ones we just kind of don't know that much about because we grew up Marvel guys. And your brothers are Marvel guys. My dad's a Marvel guy. Mm-hmm. Mario Delgado, who we buy comics from, is a Marvel guy. So it's just kind of like been Marvel our whole lives. There's no disrespect to DC. There's some great stuff out there. But when I first met Albert, and I don't know what year of college I was in at San Antonio College.
I think it was in 2006 at SAC.
Yeah, I did a little video project I do, and I used comic book images. And he was like, "Oh, you like comics? Yeah, start talking, whatever." And then
Civil War. I think you used Guns N' Roses.
I used Guns N' Roses. Yeah, we were a big Guns fan. We come to find out we have many things in common. Albert also well versed in wrestling and sports. Yeah. But when we start talking comics, I'm like, "Oh, okay, like who's your guys or whatever," and he's naming guys, and I was just like, you're a DC guy. I had never met a DC fan in my life, a straight up like, oh, I'm a DC guy.
It was Pepsi meets Coke.
No shit. And I was like, oh man. So I was really curious. And then when I asked him who his number one was, I'm expecting Batman or Superman. I'm like, all right, I can get with that because I definitely jive with those guys. And he hit me with another guy who I won't mention up just yet. I mean, we're giving it away here. But then I was like, okay, now really left field because I know nothing about. I've never read a comic of the guy. I know next to nothing about the guy. So it was a very interesting friendship.
And then,
so here we are.
Yeah, you're the one that introduced me to Collector's Authority, and that's how I met Mario and Pete.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought you knew those guys. Where were you buying books from before?
I actually kind of paused for a little bit, and then my friend Abel, the Abler, and you guys call him the Abler.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Abe. Abe, what up, my man?
He showed me this one comic, Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
And
the new one, right?
Yeah, from the 2000s. Okay. Yeah. Geoff Johns. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And just kind of brought me back and everything, got me intrigued. I read it and everything. And then that's when I met you. It was like all the stars lined up to me get back into comics and everything. And then
for sure,
you told me about Collector's Authority and Mario and Pete.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mario and Pete loved me and everything because if you remember, I was buying like 2 to 3 copies. Doubles. I had over 20 titles.
Mario and Pete, if you're listening, I know what a percentage of this guy right here. Come on now, 2 issues each, sometimes more. Come on now.
It was don't forget about the collectibles. Like I'll order the whole set.
Oh, that's right. Buying boxes of those figures, man. The Justice and all that. Yeah. Double A, though, let's get on track. What did you think of the Snyder cut trailer, the full trailer?
I'm intrigued. I still didn't like the way Darkseid looked, though.
Okay. I was about to ask you about Darkseid.
I wish they could just use the tech that Marvel did for Thanos. I really wish they could have just done that. Yeah, it looks too CGI.
And then, too, like, why do you have to... I didn't feel like Marvel really got away from the way Thanos looked in the comic books. Like, he looked pretty... And Darkseid #1 is, like, a pretty solid-looking character on its own. Yeah. One of their best-looking. Yeah. It's not a lot to it. It's very understated, but simple and good. And it's like, I'm like, why'd you got to get away from that? You know, what did you think, Albert? Is it an okay-looking Darkseid, or you?
No, I gotta agree with Kat. Like, not really feeling it.
Yeah.
And what you guys think about Joker?
That was weird. And being in the dream sequence, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess the dream sequence was longer than. Yeah. It was deeper and everything. So
that's neat. I mean, but the fact that we all know that's what it is. It's like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it looked cool. I didn't think it was Jared Leto, which I just thought it looked. I mean, not Jared Leto, but people were saying it was Joaquin Phoenix-ish or whatever. But I was like,
really?
It's not one was before. So I didn't feel that.
Yeah.
If anything, I thought he looked kind of like the Crow, is what I thought. I was like, you're seeing it in black and white, but I thought it was cool.
Kat, quick question: that Batman in the dream sequence, like to me, he reminds me of the Batman from Red Sun. The way he
did look like that, right?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. A few more comments rolled in. Let's take a look here. Joe says, kudos to all the clerks out there at HEB. Yes.
HEB is the best store there is.
HEB, man, kicking major retail ass. Aaron B in the house. What up, my brother? Aaron B, what up, brother? Mom says, what up, Mexico? Albert.
Oh, okay. All right.
Joe says, Justice League, we expected to be blown away, but we were just totally, man. I think so. It felt like kind of like the biggest of the big teams.
It was too soon.
And it
was too soon.
Right. Yeah, it was rushed.
Right.
Yeah.
Mom says, why did you call him Mexico, Albert? They have a little bit of a running inside joke. Aaron's asking that. I think he's asking Mom that. Aaron says, can I be on for comedy movies? Aaron, we did a comedy movie episode, me and Amy.
Oh, that's right.
When Double A was out. We did the Ha Ha House. But we could definitely do another comedy episode, and we'd love to have you back and have Double A there too. So, I don't see why we couldn't do that.
Joe.
Let's see. Albert was the one at Luchador. That's right, Joe. You and Albert sat down and had some wrestling talk over at Luchador Bar, and got to meet. I would say our number one fan, maybe Joe, our number one fan that we didn't know before the show. So we certainly appreciate the support, man, as always. But anything else, guys, that really stuck out to you this week that managed to make its way through?
Mortal Kombat, the trailer.
Oh man, that was really stellar.
It looks fucking cool. I can't wait for April 16th. Yeah, I can't wait for Mortal Kombat.
Double A, tell me what you said about the Shang Tsung. This is the same Shang Tsung.
I thought it was, but no, it's not.
No, okay.
I looked it up right before we went on, but on that picture, it looks like it.
It looked kind of like him.
It looked like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it looked neat. We had got asked about that before in the chat. Friday Night or Chelsea, and I think even my mom.
Yeah, Chelsea was really into it. Roxanne's sister, Chelsea.
She had a whole Mortal Kombat birthday party. It was pretty cool. The trailer looks really excellent. Looks well done.
What do you think the movie's gonna be based on or focus more on? Sub-Zero, Scorpion,
Liu Kang.
Yeah, I think you got to go that route. Although it seems like they're kind of putting the Sonya.
I kind of. Being Scorpion,
I wouldn't mind that Sub-Zero story though. The one that the 64 game put out,
right?
His origin story,
it's like solo with him and
but he was like a good guy before he got brainwashed by
or
Shang Tsung.
Did you guys ever see the animated movie it was focused more on Scorpion getting revenge on.
Oh
Sub-Zero.
no, I never saw that one.
I never saw.
There's
that
a
one.
movie.
Yeah.
Was just based on
animated.
Scorpion.
Is that able to get? Can you get that on HBO Max?
Yeah, you can.
Something like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
HBO Max.
I think it's on Netflix. I'm not too
Oh,
sure.
okay.
I'll check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look into
It was a
that.
good movie.
Okay.
It was really gory, fatalities.
Let's see.
Joe says AEW is still bad, Albert.
Joe likes to ruffle feathers when it comes to wrestling. I've seen you in groups, Joe. I know what you're up to.
It's okay. All the WWE corporate fans out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rich did mention at the same time. Rich,
It looked really
timing.
good.
Rich Mortal Kombat.
Finally, they made a more serious movie of Mortal Kombat. Yes, I can't wait.
Definitely. Just said, did anyone like the 90s Mortal Kombat movie? I didn't think it was.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Actually.
The action's
You know
great.
what I mean?
I love the song. I love the song.
the
Action's pretty good. The fight scenes are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, it's like it was like what I expected. I was like,
Now, the
oh,
Johnny
okay.
Cage was, I thought, was sorry. I didn't like that dude as Johnny Cage.
You know, I kind of was okay with
You
him.
thought so?
I mean, I wouldn't think it was great, but you know.
Yeah.
You know what I felt like? I felt like it was a good video game movie out of a lot of bad video game movies. If somebody
Real
gave
bad.
you all the video
Real
game movies
bad.
and were like,
They're
you gotta
Street
horrible.
Fighter,
Double
Mario,
Dragon,
Double Dragon.
Mario,
yeah.
yeah.
Super Mario.
If you gave me all those, I'd be like, no, I'll take Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
over those. Those are really terrible.
Mhm.
So there's that. Let's see. Roxanne says, evening fellas. What up, Foxy Roxy?
What's up, Roxanne? You better keep Monica Rambeau's comic. Roxanne owns her first appearance. Monica
randomly double
No
A
way.
sees that she
So
has this.
keep that comic good because
Wow.
she is in WandaVision and she's kicking ass right now.
And
So
the value's
Yeah.
about to go high.
You
It's
should
gonna
have
go
boards
up.
in them,
Yeah.
Roxanne. You should have boards in them.
Richard says, "Do you think there will ever be an AEW WWE crossover?"
Ooh,
I cross my fingers.
No. WWE has never been interested in crossovers as long as Vince Jr. has been in control. Vince Sr. did work with the NWA and he did work with the AWA.
They did work
But-
with Evolve Wrestling.
Yeah, but they bought that out
Yeah,
eventually.
that's true.
So
Do you guys
Vince Jr. will never cross over.
in our lifetime we will see Vince Jr. pass? Do you guys think that the rumors that Triple H is interested are true?
And it's really hard to believe too because I don't know how much control he is going to have.
To me, money talks. Like
I think he wants to put on
yeah.
big shows. He knows,
And that would be big. Can you
Yeah.
imagine Kenny Omega being in the main event for WWE at WrestleMania? Man, oh man, that would just blow everyone
How about
away.
just a 3-way dance? Him, AJ, and Finn, the Bullet Club leader. You know,
I would throw in Adam Cole. Just put
Yeah,
all
throw it in there. Yeah,
Adam Cole
I would
too.
love to
Yeah.
see that.
Wrestler of the Year, voted by the people
Yeah.
from pro wrestling history.
How about we get Jay Lethal against some great guys? You
Jay
know what I mean?
Lethal
Like,
too?
you know,
Man,
there's-
Jay Lethal
there's
will
so
fucking
much.
kill it. Yeah.
There's so much.
Man, that year, 2015, when Jay Lethal reigned as
Ooh, yeah.
the face of Ring of Honor.
You know,
And then
Man.
let's bring Will Ospreay and Ricochet back
Oh
together.
God,
man.
that would
Yeah.
be on the big
Yeah.
stage. And imagine
Yeah.
this, guys. You know, you want to solidify yourself as the thing, right, in wrestling. So you open up your Hall of Fame. You open up WrestleMania. You say one night only. Worlds get to collide, right?
Yeah.
You put on 6 matches,
Yeah.
maybe that do that. You've got an all-day fucking show. It's like a 6-hour, 8-hour show, right? It's like a work
Albert,
day.
The
Can
one
you-
match that
can
everybody's
you
been
imagine-
teasing, the New Day versus the Young
Yeah.
Bucks.
Howard, can
Yeah.
you imagine Okada being at the main event of WrestleMania?
Man,
Probably the second greatest wrestler of this generation, maybe. You know, I mean, Okada
Okada is
being at Mania.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
people that have not seen that, and it just shoots that stock, and it opens up that door to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we only do it at Mania. Then maybe we only
Yeah.
do it at the Grand
I mean,
Slam.
man, if it was at
Yeah.
Mania,
Then only.
man, that's just like dream matches right there, just at WrestleMania. Just dream
How
matches.
about this? How about a Survivor Series where
Oh,
each team is
Oh,
its
right?
own organization?
Man.
Yeah, that's
We're fantasy booking right now, guys.
Yeah.
Somebody send somebody a tweet.
But I gotta say,
War Games. Just
Yeah,
put them
ooh,
all in
War
the cage.
Games.
Gosh.
War Games.
Yeah.
So good.
But I gotta say, as long as Vince Jr. is alive, it's probably not gonna happen.
Oh.
So
What was that pay-per-view? Would have all three like it was like a battle royal, the WCW. version?
World War III.
Or-
World
Oh
War III.
yeah,
Yeah.
we need
Have
Big
New
George in the
Japan,
house here. Oh my
AEW.
gosh.
WWE.
Yep.
3 rings.
And I just think all wrestling is
Yeah.
good for business. So that's a great question, Rich. I mean, but these guys pretty much said it here. I mean, I don't know that we'll see
Look,
it.
at one time, like I
of-
said, Vince Sr. did work with everyone.
Yeah.
For some reason, Vince Jr. doesn't want to work with anyone. So
Well, with everything right now, technically we could almost get the sequel to All In again.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And let's see here. We have a few more here that say
right here.
Joe says much better Street Fighter movie than the Street Fighter movie for sure. Mortal Kombat was better than that. It's hard to cross over.
Joe, again, watch that one on YouTube, the Street Fighter on YouTube. That was a really good series.
Yeah.
What about the anime movie, the Street Fighter?
That one was good
too.
And
there was a good soundtrack too.
That was good too.
Remember Korn was there on the soundtrack?
Joe said it's hard to cross over. Yeah.
Legit, he says. And he says Kenny Omega will one day be in WWE. He wants the WrestleMania moment.
I don't know, Joe. Kenny doesn't really talk about it being in WWE at
Wrestle
all.
Kingdom is fucking great.
Yeah. It's funny you should say Wrestle Kingdom because I think the way the stars are lining up, like next year's Wrestle Kingdom might be the crossover event.
I would love to see that, man.
Maybe.
I would love to see that. One thing I know that when I watch Wrestle Kingdom, even without knowing all of the storylines, if I see, I don't know who Ibushi is or Naito is, but I watching them wrestle and I'm watching them tell a story in the ring that is making me be like, my mind is exploding. Like, holy shit, these guys are
Kat introduced us to like Bullet Club and all that,
right?
Like because we did
Ring of Honor. I owe all my Ring of Honor knowledge to AA.
I remember following AJ, and then like, whoa, he went to New Japan. I wasn't too familiar until
became a heel.
Yeah. I always followed him and everything, but I remember like that one year we stayed up like from 3 o'clock until almost like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning watching Wrestle Kingdom. We're like, whoa.
And it was fantastic.
And I think you were sick. I think you had the flu or something.
I might have been.
Oh, damn.
And he was
nothing stops CM Chuck.
No.
You gotta watch wrestling. I mean, like, and that's like Japanese wrestling. I never saw myself watching that. I always kind of did consider myself like, Albert says, like kind of like a WWE mark, just watching WWE only. And I didn't know any better. I was like Zack Ryder. You know what I mean? I was like, I love this. I love Hulk Hogan, and but then just to have my eyes opened by the athleticism and the storytelling in the ring by these guys. There's so much. If you love wrestling, I mean, there's so much out there that you can get into.
Yeah, I mean, so many foreign wrestlers, American wrestlers, have made their name.
Yeah.
In Japan,
and then all of the shows that us three have gone to,
amazing shows. I've taken my girlfriend who's not that into wrestling, but you just cannot deny the
it's a difference
in
live.
Indie shows to like big main event shows and everything. Like, whoa.
Seeing wrestling live is a whole different experience. It's badass. It's awesome.
And who could forget? I think all of us were there
with Omega.
No, the day we discover the C fillers. Sorry,
right.
Sorry, WWE.
C
filler secret.
Now we're gonna be banned forever doing that again. Thanks, Albert. Appreciate that.
Free tickets over 10+ years. Sorry.
Wow. Let's see. Joe says it's just who is gonna go over.
That's gonna be the politics right there. That's gonna be the problem right there.
I say you mix it, you blend it, you give their stars. Depending who you put Okada with, it's like you maybe give him to go over, and then you see. And I don't know about belts. I don't know how you
can imagine Okada versus Daniel Bryan.
Oh yeah,
man, that'd be awesome.
But for some reason, I think like, I'm okay if I never see another Randy Orton match. But for some reason, I feel like Okada and Orton might be really good.
I think there would be backlash on that. If Okada loses to Randy, we riot.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah. I don't want to see Randy go over anymore.
Chicago. If CM Punk loses to John Cena, we riot.
I mean, Cesaro, Okada, that'd be awesome too.
Damn, that's fantastic right there.
But Cesaro, can you imagine if Cesaro and Chris Hero got back together against the Young Bucks or something?
That'd be nice.
The Kings of Wrestling back together again. That'd be awesome.
Sorry if we're shaking. We're getting excited, guys. We're shaking the table. It's making the camera shake here. But I know it's like this one. Let me get in these comments real quick.
Richard says won't happen with Vince Jr. in charge. I agree, Richard. It's not going to happen.
Joe says it could happen with Vince. He just needs to own it.
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean,
he gets 100% of the profits.
Joe says
no one outside of wrestling fans know what Wrestle Kingdom is. Yeah, well, there's a lot of wrestling fans. So,
but I'm saying, Joe, this is how you educate people.
It's called the internet.
You
people
bring it to the forefront. You show it. You know what I mean? Like, and you say, "Hey, I didn't know." It took for me this guy to show me Ring of Honor, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome!" But it's the same way when you go to an RCW show in town. It's like
that's fun too.
I mean? If you never did that, and
RCW is fun.
It's really cool. Let's see. Aaron says, I like that bitch Katana from Mortal Kombat, except for when she took off her mask. She would grind your pee into nothing. That is all I think true.
But wait, but Aaron after a couple of drinks doesn't matter. It won't matter to him.
She might still go home. Yeah. How's the body?
You'll be like,
Let's see. Joe says we're forgetting Okada and Impact.
Okada and Impact.
He says,
yeah, there's rumors because New Japan is working with Impact.
Right.
Robinson and Finlay appeared this week in Impact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Joe says RCW shows Rock. They do.
The Young Bucks. I'm only saying the Young Bucks because I can't think of another like top team that Kings of Wrestling. If everybody knows Kings of Wrestling, I can't think of another top team. Like
they're a name that's going to draw.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? You're going to put eyes. You put on your top.
Joe, when was the last time you were at an RCW show? I've been to a whole lot. Maybe we've been to the same shows.
Yeah. Joe says Okada in TNA was Okada.
Oh, okay.
I did not.
Russo, where he made him look like like the Green Hornet sidekick.
Oh man,
what was
with Samoa, right? With Samoa Joe.
So then it's Okado.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was.
That's garbage.
He dressed him up like that, Russo.
That's why Vince Russo doesn't have a lot of credibility.
Yeah, that's rough. Man.
Yeah, one of the greatest wrestlers of our generation, and dressed him up like that.
That's terrible.
What is his name? What was Bruce Lee's name in that one?
Kato.
Kato.
So, I guess it was Kato. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, not that
wow.
yeah. Anthony in the house. What up, Anthony? Man, I'm so sorry to hear about that Punisher mug today, man.
What happened?
Broke my heart. His little boy knocked him. I gave him a Punisher mug. It's a great Punisher mug too. It's like the skull. Yeah, when you're drinking out of it, it looks like the bottom of your mouth is the skull. I think I gave it for his birthday or something. But he said he had it for maybe about a year, and he said his son knocked it over today and broke it. I was like, damn it.
That's horrible.
I'll be on the lookout for you, Anthony. Or I find another one.
Hey, forget Anthony. What about me?
Joe says double A is correct. Double A usually is correct. So we'll go as usual. Then he says as usual.
Joe, what RCW shows are in? Let me know.
Guys, you know what we like to do here? We'd like to give this first kind of, we say 15 minutes and it ends up dragging out to 30 because we have no concept of time. And, we like that for you to join us. We feel like you're with us now. You're hanging in there. Hopefully you're safe and warm. Still, there is a warning in effect, right, Albert? You had said
a freeze warning like tonight.
Yeah. But the roads were looking good tonight and everything.
The roads did look good. It was like my first time riding out when I rode with Double A over to. We went to get beer, which the convenience store was pretty much cleared out except for some of the beer. That's why I had to get the good old expensive.
Yeah, there was a guy crying for beer, remember?
Yeah. The guy was like, "Oh, beer, blah, blah, blah." There's other beer in here, man. Yeah. Just get some beer, you know what I mean? But there was like no sodas or no anything else. No hot dogs on the rollers. There was like no food. There. But yeah, guys, we're nearing up on that 30-minute mark where we're gonna we say take a little quick break. I'll let you know that we're gonna go to break, but we don't go anywhere on the live stream. Remember, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can join us every Friday night. We do the show live. You can join the conversation, whatever we're talking about. Comment, ask questions, you know what I mean? Add your opinions on things. But if you're not, you're just listening to us on audio, you'll just hear a little quick me do a little quick 30-second commercial in the first break, and then every break after that is just like it's like a blip, and then we start talking again. So, but we use that time to read your comments. But right now we've been reading all those comments, so I think we're going to be good when we hit that first break, which is like in another probably 30 seconds. But let's read a few more before we go. Yeah,
quick question. What was the best match for you guys in 2020?
Oh, damn, that's a good one. I'm gonna think on that while I read these comments real quick. Let's see. Let's see.
Oh, okay. Wow, you went to the early shows of Goliath.
Joseph used to go on Goliath. And they had him at church.
I used to go to Kirby, the ones he had in Kirby and Retama Park. That's one of the ones I went to. I met Ricky Steamboat. I've met Powers of Pain, Jimmy Hart, Jake the Snake, shitload of wrestlers. Wow. I can't think right now, but I met a lot of them at RCW shows. Yeah. Animal, Road Warrior Animal. I got to meet him there too. So that was awesome.
Did you ever go to Shawn Michaels?
No,
thing?
I did.
CM did. Mm-hmm. And that's where he met Daniel Bryan.
When he was American Dragon.
And he has an autograph. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I want to read real quick. Jason from Hondo. What up, Jason?
What's up,
welcome,
Jason?
man. Hey, we appreciate you joining us every week, man, from Hondo. That's really rad. Thank you for being here. Joe says AJ Summers, yeah. Ray Rowe, Joey, yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. All those cats, I remember all of them. Me and Albert got to buy beer for the Aces and Eights. Remember that, Albert?
AEW doing a crossover Impact. Do you think AEW will eventually purchase? I think they will. I think they will purchase Impact.
Tony Khan's got that money, right, guys?
Come on.
You know what I mean? So, guys, we're right here at the 30-minute mark. So we're going to take this quick break. If you're on the Facebook Live, we're not going anywhere. Please continue to read those comments that have come in, and then we'll be right back. Guys, thanks for staying with us here on the live. We just did a little quick break. That goes only for our audio listeners that listen after the fact that are not on the live. They hear it's on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible, Amazon Music, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts or anything audio. We are there. If we're not there, let me know and I'll get us there. And that's where you get to hear the really, really, really rad intro music that my man and our man Albert Olivarez did for us. It's so fucking fun and badass. It's got fucking Batman, Michael Keaton in there, CM Punk talking, the Young Bucks, Joe. Sorry, they're in our intro music. But I know you like that intro music, Joe. I know that shit gets you hyped with Volbeat mixed in there. We don't own the rights to that music or have any permission, but we're a bunch of fucking rogues.
We're renegades.
Yeah, we do what the fuck we want. So you want to come get us? You want to put a cease and desist? Come and get us.
Joe says, TWA Wrestling, man, that was back in the day.
Yeah.
Used to go see Sean when he worked for Ken's.
Now, were you guys at the show? Was anybody at the show? I was there with Friday Nighter Adam Tondre and John, Friday Nighter Holty Bear.
Was it Adam long hair?
No, this is pretty long hair.
Oh,
but
wow.
check this out. They did a moment of silence for a guy that got hurt, right? And then some jack off in the crowd shouts out something, and Shawn Michaels lost his shit.
Whoa.
And he told them to shut the fuck up, and they were being fucking disrespectful. And he said if he had to go out there, he was going to kick someone's fucking ass. I felt like a little boy getting fucking scolded by Shawn Michaels. I was like, oh man, Shawn's really mad. I was like, it was a trip. I don't know if anybody was at that show, but it was back. Now, what is that place called? Albert Cowboys Dance Hall?
Yeah.
Now it's called. It used to be Far West Rodeo, and they would have wrestling shows.
Okay.
And it was really wild. And I met Daniel Bryan.
Wait, I think Far West is still around.
But there's a different Far West now. But that Cowboys used to be called Far West Rodeo.
Oh, really? Oh. Okay.
And then they changed to Cowboys. But before all that, it was still Far West Rodeo. That's when they were having the wrestling.
If I remember right, didn't he used to come out like on Ken's? Like
it was.
That's what Joe said.
Yeah, that's what Joe said. It was
and,
Joe said.
And one of like the main heels, I think his name was Venom. Or
now that I don't remember.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I remember a wrestler named Venom actually wrestled Shawn Michaels. One of those rare matches that Shawn Michaels stay here.
That is interesting. Now, when I met, when I started going to RCW shows, that's when I first met Ray Rowe. Also, Joe, I got to meet. He was their champion at the time, and he was really good. And they had a really good guy of theirs. Michael Faith, he passed recently, and he was kind of one of a staple of RCW.
Yeah, he was a member of our group too for Friday Night Faithful.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that was pretty tough, whatever. And I had a friend that actually wrestled for them. My friend Dave, known in there as Honky Kong. That's pretty cool. So let's read a few more of these. Is that all the couple we caught up?
Anthony says, I'll find another one talking about that Punisher.
I know.
And then Joe says it was good talking wrestling with Albert.
Awesome, man.
Joe says right now, Sean used to do the news for Ken's, me and my bro-in-law.
Is that?
Yeah,
I used to do the news. What the fuck, Sean? Man, I didn't know that.
Like a little quick promo, I think. Him advertising.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Cool, Sean. Okay. Oh yeah. Give me a second. I'm just gonna set up here real quick, guys. The Double A's got some. Would we call this a pickup? We didn't go. We didn't get to go out this week, guys, because it was a
this was an earlier eBay pickup, but I picked up Code and the Barbarians issue 3. This is Red Sonja's origin story. Picked it up for like $15, so that was a pretty cool pickup.
Thank you, sir.
If you saw last week's episode, I picked up the statue for Mario Delgado from Authority Comics. He will be closed this weekend, but he will be open for the last weekend of this month. So it was kind of like a sequel to my statue. So this is her origin.
Very nice, man. I like that. It's a great pickup. Albert, you had a comment?
Oh, that question, remember? What was the best match you guys saw?
Oh, that's right.
2020.
Shit.
I don't really watch a whole lot anymore. Like Ring of Honor is my go-to wrestling. The one I don't know.
I love Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn.
The Stampede one?
Stampede, AEW,
yeah.
Okay.
Santana and Ortiz versus Best Friend, the street fight.
Yeah.
That was
I got a 5-star
one.
I know you have something in your mind loaded, so go. I want you to go. What was yours?
Oh, I just said those.
Oh, those two. Oh, those right there.
Yeah, those were some of my favorites right there. Like O'Reilly versus Finn. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, okay. I need to go back and watch. I've been wanting to go back and watch.
Yeah, they already killed each other. Yeah. I think Finn had dislocated jaw.
Yeah, and he was out for a while because that was the thing or whatever. My wrestling guys out there still watching. What was you guys' favorite match of 2020? For me, is this a cheat? Can I say the Royal Rumble?
Oh no,
I was really impressed. I felt like a kid again watching it, and I hadn't felt that way about wrestling in a while. I told these two guys about it. I said, go back and watch. It's worth it. And you watched it. You said on my recommendation, and I just hadn't felt that way in a while. I mean, you know what? 2020 felt so long. What else was in 2020? I mean, the Boneyard match was in 2020, right?
That was there too.
Yeah, that was good. I did like Edge and Orton. I'm talking about One Mania, probably. There was probably so much out there. Ibushi and Naito was great.
Oh yeah,
that was great. That was in 20. Or was that this year? It might have been. No, that was.
I think it was this year, right?
It might have been early this year. Wrestle Kingdom. So tough, but yeah, I want to see what the Friday Nighters say here. And we see
Jason says he's still looking for the Red Hulk.
Oh, I know. Damn, we gotta get that Red Hulk for you, man.
Joe says
Mario might have
the mug.
202 Adam Cole.
Statue.
Joe says 2020 Adam Cole and Ciampa. He thought he was
great. Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
You know, it just sounds good. When you say those two names, I know that they had a good night. It makes me want to go watch it.
Ciampa and Cole equals takeover. They're icons. To me, they're legends. You put them on a takeover match.
Nice.
Yeah, they
Where do you stand on Gargano? I know he's getting a lot of. I love that guy in the ring, man.
He puts on so many good matches, but he always loses on takeovers, man.
I hear people say he's bad on the mic.
You know what? I'm not too sure. Okay. I focus more on his wrestling. To
That's
be honest
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did I miss any comments there, Double A?
No, just when Edge came back, he's asking you for the Randy Orton one. You said him and Randy Orton,
one.
Right?
Yeah, that was a really good one too. But for me, the moment that stole the show in the Rumble was the Edge and Christian moment, which. Joe knows I'm a crier.
Which one were you more happy about? 2020 Edge or 2021 Edge? When he won it this year or when he returned last year in Houston, the Rumble?
Dan, that's a really good question or whatever. But I'll tell you this: between those two moments, I went and bought the "It Ain't Easy Being Sleazy" shirt that I always wanted of Edge because I brought that shirt back. But that's a really tough because it was so cool to see him come back because that for me felt like I was like, man, like he's
and he
back.
Was down the road and
and the gray beard and shit, and he looked great, right? Like I was like, wow, he looked a lot better than like Jericho. Sorry, guys, he looked a lot better than Jericho. And then for him to win, I mean, that was insane. I didn't see that coming. I was like, wow, okay. What's his name impressed me? Martinez. Or it used to be Martinez.
Oh, Punchman Martinez.
Yeah,
he's
Priest.
Damian Priest. I was like, wow, that guy is really, really good. Okay. Really, really good. So,
which we got to see him quite a few times here in San Antonio.
That's right.
We did.
We certainly did. Guys, I think we're caught up on the comments.
Joe's real quick just says, I love Gargano. Gotta love the short guys.
Yeah,
that's right.
And when he returned, bro, chills. When he returned,
bro.
Yeah. One thing I gotta give Gargano is like his outfits. He always does like a comic theme or animated theme.
I love that. That's very Cody Rhodes-ish. Yeah, Cody Rhodes kind of do that.
Or Omega.
And Ray Mysterio too.
Big time Ray.
Jason, you say you're looking for the Red Hulk, the Red Hulk. Do you mean the statue, comic book? Let us know, and we'll try to put our feelers out and find that for you, Jason. We appreciate you watching all the way from Hondo.
So,
guys, I think we've caught up on the comments, so we're going to get right back into the real deal conversation here. And we welcome you to please continue to comment throughout the time we're talking. At our next 30-minute break, we'll read all those comments, and we want to hear what you think about what we're talking about tonight. So we're going to get right back into it. Guys, thanks for hanging out while we took our quick little break. Remember that if you're joining us on Facebook Live, we don't take a break. We're here reading your comments, joining the conversation. We always invite you to come if you're able to on a Friday night. Join us live on Facebook Live. We're planning to soon, hopefully, be able to be live and also on Twitch and maybe YouTube. But wherever you're able to join us, if you're able to join us live, we read your comments. You join the conversation. It's like you're here sitting with us, drinking beer and talking about. It's been a wrestling heavy episode for nice with Albert in the house. We should have expected nothing less.
And if any local businesses are watching right now or owners, sponsor these guys.
Hey, thank you.
Sponsor these guys.
Thank you.
All right, let's get them on the big show. Come on, guys.
We appreciate
any
that.
Sponsors here. They're too good. We
appreciate that. This is the guy again who I've said does our intro music. If you listen to us anywhere that you hear our audio version, and it's so fun. I love it. I love that song now, and I just jam out to the whole thing, even when I'm listening to my own episodes. not in a vain way, but because I have to go back in here and make sure it didn't sound like shit. But guys, tonight, the reason that we're bathed in green, the reason why Albert's been putting up the fist to the screen. Did you guys watch a Ryan Reynolds movie back in the day?
Ouch.
Maybe it was. I know that's not why we're here, guys. I have told Double A since the beginning. I said, if there's ever anything you want me to read or watch or that we can talk about, you put it before me and I will do it, because this show should be a contribution of both of our things, not just things that we both love, but things that maybe we're educating each other on. So one of those things was the kind of, I alluded to it earlier when I met Albert, found out he's a DC guy. Then I asked him who his favorite superhero is. And I was like, what? He says the Green Lantern. Now, there was a handful of things I knew about the Green Lantern. Probably one main villain and his real name. And if you can name those two things right now, put it in the comments. I'd like to see that. And then obviously I knew he had a ring of that gave him power or whatever, but I really knew nothing really much else. So when Double A said to me, I want you to read these Green Lantern books, I think that you'll really like them. It's a really cool story and to give you a little bit more insight to the character. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. We haven't done a show like that yet. Nope. But that was also, Albert's favorite guy. So it wasn't like he hit me with, not only am I a DC guy, but I'm like, okay, here comes Batman or Superman. No, it's Green Lantern. I'm like, okay, not Flash. This is a guy that at the time that we met, there was no movie. There was no big storyline. Maybe there was just, I knew him from the Super Friends and I knew he had a ring that he could do shit with, but I didn't know really much else. So Albert, before we get right into the conversation specifically about, we're talking about Green Lantern Rebirth tonight. Albert, tell me why the Green Lantern?
Why the Green Lantern?
Why is he your guy?
We got to go back from the 80s, the cartoons, the Justice League cartoons and everything.
Okay.
Green Lantern was there, Firestorm was there, not the Super Friends.
Right.
When it was modified, it was just Justice League and everything. And then, pretty much when I was small, I was raised mostly by my grandma. So she'll give me like $1 or $2. We'll go to walk to HEB Handy Andy, going old school
right on.
there.
When comics were on the rack, right?
Yep, stop and go and everything.
That's my favorite time.
God, if I remember right, Kat, you guys might. I think like in the late 80s and early 90s, I think the comics were like $1, $1.25, $1.50 or something like that.
That's about right.
And she'll just give me $1 and everything. And but she surprised me and she bought some comics. And one of the comics was Green Lantern. And not Superman, not Batman, it was Green Lantern. So it was also random. And so from there, it's like, oh, I read it. Maybe I waited for the next issue. She told me where she bought it and everything. So we'll walk to Handy Andy and I start buying comics there. And my first series I pretty much started was with Green Lantern, not Superman, not Batman, not the Flash, none of those. It was Green Lantern and everything.
That's cool, man. I didn't know that. I didn't know your reasons behind it.
So technically, it was my grandma that got me into the Lantern by accident. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And he's a character that I always thought was visually appealing.
Very visually appealing. Story is very cool. There is 3,600 Green Lanterns that patrol a sector of the universe. Okay, they're there for justice, for peace. They're almost like the Jedi Knights, way before the Jedi Knights even existed.
The Guardians.
Yeah, they wield a special ring that it's really only limited to your imagination and your willpower. Okay, they're supposed to overcome fear, greed, rage, everything. They're supposed to just have enough willpower to be able to defeat any threat to that sector of the universe. Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern of Earth, of this whole sector of the universe. Okay.
And what sector are we, Albert? 2814, I believe, right? I kept seeing it as I was reading.
2814 is our sector.
We're 2814.
Okay. And for the longest time, Green Lantern was an essential part of the DC universe, one of the heavy hitters of the DC universe, one of the main members of the Justice League, okay, with Superman, with Batman, with everybody, okay, a heavy hitter, one of the top 7 Justice League members. And around the 90s, they start kind of changing. DC needed to be picked up. If you know, Batman got his back broken by Bane. He got sidelined.
Yeah, he did.
Aquaman got his hand eaten.
Yeah.
And got replaced.
And with a hook.
Yeah, by a hook. Superman, perhaps the biggest one, got killed.
Yep.
Okay, that was a huge shakeup.
In a way, it was like a dark time for DC.
It was a very dark time, and you know what?
But those are bold ass moves, man.
And I was going to say,
characters.
You know, as bold as that was, maybe the boldest move they did was to turn one of their big, heavy heroes. They turn him into a villain.
Yeah, one
of DC's biggest villains.
Right.
The Green Lantern, the mighty Green Lantern, Hal Jordan became rogue. He went rogue when Mongo, a supervillain of Superman, destroyed Coast City. 7 million people got killed when Mongo destroyed Coast City.
And that's like his metropolis.
Right? Yes, that's his city.
And it was during the return of Superman.
Mm-hmm. Superman was back there. Yeah, everything was back. And just Cyborg Superman, Mongo, they destroyed Coast City. And Hal Jordan snaps.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his city. He lost everything he held dear. What is someone going to do when you get pushed to that limit?
Yeah.
But prior to that, I believe there was already no hints because his hair was turning white.
There was little hints that we get introduced to Rebirth, but at this point, you're just like, whoa, how it snapped.
Yeah.
You know, he tries bringing back Coast City with his ring, and the Guardians come and tell him, you know, you're using it for your own personal use. You're not supposed to do that with the ring. He's like, you know what? I've busted my ass to save this universe. I've saved planets. I've saved civilizations. I just lost my city, and you guys can't think of anything else that I just broke a fucking rule. You know, he snaps. He starts making his way to Oa.
That's their planet.
Yes, their planet of the Green Lanterns, the whole power source. Okay, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to have enough power. This only lasts 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go there, if I absorb the whole power battery, I won't need to recharge anything. I can bring Coast City back, you know, big time against the rules. Big time.
Yeah.
He flies off. The Guardians send every Green Lantern they have against him. He kills them, kicks their ass.
Mm-hmm.
He kills them. I mean, just how crazy is that to say? Hal Jordan is killing Green Lanterns.
A lot of fan favorites, too.
You know?
Yeah.
Kilowog.
He destroys, he disintegrates Kilowog. All you see is his skeleton, his big skeleton that you see there. The Guardians.
Does he come out in the Ryan Reynolds movie?
Yeah.
They show him, right? Yeah.
Michael Clark Duncan voices him.
Wow.
He's the one that trains him. Yeah.
Very cool.
You know, that's the moment where he steps over the line, though, when he finally kills Kilowog. Kilowog is trying to reason with him. He's like, how you can still stop this? You know, you can still just give yourself up to the Guardians. If you absorb that power battery, Green Lanterns across the universe, their rings are just going to die out.
Yeah.
What if they're flying in space and they don't have the ring to protect them anymore?
Right.
They're going to die. What if they are in battle with someone and their fucking lantern, their ring goes off? They're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so not only is Hal killing the ones that are physically coming after him, but he's going to kill a lot of them spread across the universe.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
But at this point,
nasty sounding. It's
this point, Hal's just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. In a strange way, it was like Order 66 in Star Wars. He's wiping them up.
Hal doesn't care anymore. Yeah. He's just worried about Coast City now. He doesn't care anymore about the universe. He doesn't care about his Green Lantern brothers and sisters. He doesn't care about Oa. He doesn't care about nothing anymore. He's devastated of what happened.
Goes to the dark side.
Yeah,
and
without any spoilers, because we're not everyone here is caught up, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of a program we're enjoying right now with WandaVision, where grief is overtaking this man.
Yes,
and he's going to do whatever it takes to.
Fear is overtaking him.
Yeah,
which is a big thing in this whole series, which is a big thing in the Green Lantern series. Fear, fear. This yellow ring right here.
That's what that ring controls. That is in that series.
But so he tells Kilowog, "I'm sorry. I got to do what's best for me. I'm sorry." And he destroys Kilowog. Boom. Oldest friend, one of his oldest friends, trainer of many of the Green Lantern Corps. And he goes on, and the Guardians, one last thing they do is bring back Sinestro.
Yeah, that was really neat. Yeah. This is the primary villain of the Green Lantern. If you did see if you did see the Ryan Reynolds movie, well, you do see Sinestro throughout that. He's throughout the movie, right?
Yes.
And he looked cool. I thought he did look cool in the movie.
At one time considered the greatest Green Lantern until they found out he was pretty much a dictator in his sector of the universe. They get rid of him. He creates the yellow ring. He gets his power from fear. Yeah. But the Guardians are like, you know what? Hal Jordan is just killing everyone. We're standing after him. We have to send, at one time, who was our greatest Green Lantern. Him and Sinestro have this just big fight, this big duel of willpower. Yeah. Hal Jordan eventually overcomes him and breaks his neck. Yeah. What a chilling moment that was.
Really crazy. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. He breaks his neck and the Guardians do nothing. Yeah. They do nothing. Hal walks into the battery, absorbs all that power, and out he becomes Parallax.
And when he does that, it kills the other Guardians, right? Because you kind of see them fall dead, except for
one of them that makes it. But man, it was just like, wow, Hal Jordan, that guy.
And even this, you see him after he comes out, he steps on the ring, the one ring left,
he crushes
it and breaks it apart.
This ring.
And this is like the thing that's tied to this guy. It's iconic, right? It's like maybe when you watch, and of course I'm a Marvel guy, so I got a reference wrong. But like when you see in Ragnarok when Thor's hammer gets exploded, you're like, oh, what the fuck? What's he gonna do now?
It's a big symbol. Right?
Yeah, it was very symbolic. Reading that, and I saw that, and I was like, this is not the same guy anymore. This is not a good guy anymore. This is not Super Friends. This is not just this is a man that's
maybe
gone over the edge.
Yeah. Maybe the most extreme thing DC had did, and they got a lot of hate mail for this, for Hal becoming a bad guy.
I didn't know where to write the letter at the time. But yeah, that was me. Yeah,
that's cool.
So he becomes this new figure named Parallax, and starts just becoming one of DC's universal threats.
He was the third man, like when Hogan.
Yeah,
he dropped the leg drop. He dropped the leg drop on him. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. My God.
Yeah.
So now you got a Justice League member that's a universal threat now.
Right.
Okay. That knows Superman's weakness, Batman's weakness, Wonder Woman, Aquaman,
he was in the
Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they say sometimes, right? When you hear about like these old war stories and stuff like that too, right? They're like, the men didn't have the stomach to go against someone that they knew. That's what essentially happens. One of the Justice League becomes a fucking bad guy.
Justice League member.
They're so badass. They're in the Justice League. Hey, then you're the top tier Justice League. Okay, now one of them goes rogue. Like you're in a shitload of trouble. Like it's not going to be good. So, I mean, that was a very interesting story for me to read. I thought it was very cool. I did not see the Sinestro neck breaking in. I was like, holy shit. And again, this is me with very limited knowledge of Green Lantern.
And the great art, too. You just see in Hal Jordan's face where he's gone. Yeah. Hal Jordan's gone.
Yeah.
There is no more Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
His sleeves are ripped and everything. Yeah. And he's like, his
face is just like he knows what he's doing is wrong.
Everything.
Hal knows what he's doing, but it's just like, I can't stop anymore.
Yeah. Right.
I can't do it.
Right.
I've crossed this line already, and I need to finish what I need to do. It's too late for me.
In a strange way that, DC kind of needed him to be that villain at that time.
Yeah. So it began 0 Hour, where he tries to erase everything in the universe and tries to recast it in his own image. Okay, I mean,
there you go.
You're talking universal threat now. Yeah, you're talking God complex now. This guy has the power now to go up against the whole Justice League.
Yeah,
Superman. I mean, once you can go up against Superman,
he looked neat in the Parallax costume too, and he looked maniacal. They drew him very like crazy looking. There's some great books up here. I'll try to get some more shots of later, but the one that he's got all the rings on his hands.
Oh my goodness,
crazy
from dead lanterns, dead Green Lantern.
Yeah. He's collecting them literally at this point,
and I believe it was in 0 Hour. That's when whoa, I didn't know he was that strong. Superman, him and Superman could go at it.
Yeah, he knocks out Superman. Albert told me he knocks out Superman with one punch.
Shit. Okay,
so again, you're talking a Justice League member turning rogue that has enough power to even knock out Superman.
Yeah, right.
Okay. They eventually defeat him in 0 Hour. They do defeat him. He's just a constant threat though, all the time until finally an event that happens with the sun starts dying, that Hal kind of regains himself in a way, sacrifices himself and reignites the sun, but kills him. It kills him at the end. Okay, and he eventually becomes the Spectre. Okay, so after death, he becomes a Spectre, and they join. And this is kind of where we go into Rebirth. Green Lantern Rebirth, the 6-issue series by Geoff Johns.
Which he was like a rookie, new.
Yeah, I was about to ask you.
Yeah,
I asked Double A this. I said, would you say that it was his breakout story? And would you agree with that, Albert? Okay, guys.
So maybe people have said Rebirth.
Map right there and everything, and pretty much kind of like where he's at. He's like one of the big high rollers.
He has a huge role at DC now.
Huge role, even in the movie department.
Executive producer on a lot of stuff. Now, this guy, he can write his ass off. Yeah. We did an episode about the 3 Jokers, me and Double A. He wrote that story, which I thought was very well done.
He's done some of the biggest events in these last couple of years.
Is that a hallmark of his, guys, where he kind of calls back to old stories? Because it seemed like he did that here.
Like
he definitely did that in 3 Jokers.
In a strange way, he kind of fixes some of the problems.
That's what he's really good at.
I love that. Yeah, I told Double A when I read it, Albert, that when I was reading, I read Emerald Twilight, and then because he gave me that to set me up, and then I started reading Rebirth, and I felt a little bit lost. But I said I already know to trust him from reading 3 Jokers. So I was like, I know Geoff Johns is going to get me there. And he sure did. It became easier as I went through, even without really knowing all the things that happened in between that and this story. So.
And he's like worked, or he's helped like so many characters, like the Flash. He brought back Barry. He's worked on the Teen Titans. He went 100 issues deep on the Green Lantern run. One of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest runs ever in the comic book history.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's done some of the craziest events in the last couple of years. He did actually DC Rebirth. Like he fixed the aftermath of technically 52, which was not really popular.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me go jump ship to these guys in Marvel.
I remember you were riding with us for a bit there.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I can't read this 52 crap. I was like, I'm sorry, where's Geoff? Like, save us. But that was just the beginning for Geoff and everything, because he went on in a strange way, like on he created a trilogy at the time. We didn't know he was working on a trilogy. Yeah. Like he went from Rebirth to Sinestro War and Blackest Night.
Right.
So this one, a lot of times, this Rebirth has been called A New Hope.
Yeah.
In trilogies.
Interesting. Okay.
So this was kind of like, you're bringing back Hal Jordan. Kyle Rayner has been the Green Lantern all this time, but now he wants to reestablish Hal Jordan and make him the main star again as Green Lantern. Yeah. But now, he
was gone for what, almost like 10 years or something like that?
Yeah, and now you got to fix his image.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because he's been a bad guy for
He was
a long time.
Universal threat, big time, that tried to reimagine DC's universe.
And then a generation grew up with
Kyle.
Kyle now and everything. Yeah. So
I grew up with Kyle. Okay, that was my Green Lantern. Kyle was mine. So when Hal Jordan did all this, I was reading Kyle Rayner.
Right.
Okay. So reading Hal Jordan and finding out that he was this, the old school Green Lantern, the one I saw in Super Friends, that turned evil. I was like, okay, I got to give this Rebirth a chance.
Yeah.
I got to see how he's going to fix this, because this guy is responsible for millions of people's deaths.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know any of this. I was under the impression when I saw this stuff kind of happening in DC, like from the outsider, looking in, I saw it as like, oh, this is just a changing of the guard. This guy's to me, it was like, oh, like, Robin becomes Nightwing. I was like, oh, this guy's becoming the new Green Lantern or whatever. And I didn't even question what was happening to the Green Lantern who I knew from Super Friends or whatever, which was Hal Jordan. I had always known that it was Hal Jordan who was the Green Lantern. And, there really wasn't anything else that I had questioned about it. And I just figured, it's changing.
God, I think was it House of M that was going on at the same time as Rebirth?
It could be.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure what years exactly we're talking about. We'd have to probably look that up.
I think it was almost a time frame or something like that. Yeah. Because I remember it was House of M, but I was like, oh, whoa. I started seeing advertising.
I was going to say, what kind of brought you back? Just noting that there was going to be a change?
Yeah. I started seeing like on Wizard Comics. On the Wizard magazines.
The Wizard magazines, right.
Yeah. Like, whoa. Hey, is that Hal Jordan? Rebirth? Like, are they bringing them back? And so I started seeing the teasers and everything. So I was like, all right, you got me back. You got my attention.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure.
Because in the late 90s and everything, I kind of stopped or so.
Mm-hmm.
because comics kind of got weird.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah, the X-Men were like, well, who are these guys?
So Albert, I was saying, see, I'm here that interesting note. I didn't even buy Rebirth issue 1. It was actually Boy that bought.
He shocked me with that
Rebirth.
one too. I was like,
because Boy has always been strong on DC characters. He likes the DC characters, Boy.
Yeah.
So he's the one,
big Joker.
Big Joker fan.
Yeah. So he's the one that actually bought Rebirth issue 1, and I was out of stuff to read, and I was like, you know what? Let me try this Rebirth. I don't know nothing. I was like, Sam, I don't know nothing about Green Lantern, but you know what? The cover looked cool. I was like, let me check it out. So I'm reading the comic. I'm like, wow, okay. So he was dead. They're bringing him back.
Yeah. We see Killua there.
Yeah. And I read way in the back. You know how they used to promote all the other comics,
right?
Okay. Well, they had like a little description of Rebirth issue 1 where it says Hal Jordan. Geoff Johns is bringing Hal Jordan back once one of the greatest heroes turns into one of the vilest villains DC has ever produced. Yeah. Tries to come back. This is like a redemption story, pretty much. I was like, holy shit, wow. Okay.
I love a redemption story.
I was like, wow, okay. So that got me hooked. Yeah.
And some of the opening first pages, like, whoa, Kyle Rayner has his body and everything.
Yeah, that was
like, whoa.
Kyle's all bloody.
Yeah.
I love that too, because I didn't know that Green Arrow and Green Lantern had such a close relationship.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of sucks to me to know that like they had this like long 8-season Green Arrow series and they never bring up or talk about the Green Lantern.
They always teasers there and all that, but like, oh, they're in Coast City or something like that, or they mention it. Or
that's kind of like that's what I like about that show stuff. But then I don't like when it's like then it's not fleshed out. You know what I mean? Because to me, let me ask you this, Albert, because I asked Double A this, and Double A I'll ask you after I ask Albert. But you know, if there was a Mount Rushmore of DC, I think we all know who 3 of the 4 would be. I was looking. You guys know that I wear a T-shirt. Try to wear a T-shirt for the show, right? So I wore a green shirt, but it's a Green Marvel shirt. So you know what I mean. But I have nothing with the Green Lantern on it, and I didn't tell you to do this, Albert. But you know what I mean. But I try to be in theme, right? So I had a shirt. I said, oh, I think I have a shirt with Green Lantern, but it's like a Mount Rushmore, and it's obviously Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern. Well, when I went and dug the shirt out, it's not. It's Flash. And I was like, wait, would he really be the big 4?
And I really don't know who would the 4th guy would be.
I mean, in my opinion,
you're biased, but it's got to be because power-wise.
Well, the reason I'm kind of biased or have reason for my decision is like Barry died, and for like what was he dead for over 20 plus years?
Yes, he was.
Like he'll make no special appearances here and there, like no glimpse of him. But his death meant so much and everything because of what he did. And
he runs in the Speed Force. Yeah, and that's when you see him turn to the skeleton.
Yeah, but that like Hal stayed there, and he was there. He was evil. He was dead. He was a Spectrum. He was Paradox. He was Hal Jordan, the Lantern, and everything. But he stayed there. He was always there in some way, in some form. But Barry just stayed dead. But for like kind of like Kat said, Kyle was his Lantern for a long time. Wally was my Flash. So for me, like me growing up, like I didn't know too much about Barry, like pre-crisis and everything. So for me, it was like Jordan gets that 4th spot because I grew up in there. Yeah, I grew up when everything, and Wally was the Flash at that time. So I didn't know too much about Barry and everything. And he's kind of considered the Golden Age or what?
Barry is part of the Silver Age.
Silver Age.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Jay Garrick is the Golden Age one.
And then that's a great
original,
answer.
and then the original Lantern, Alan Scott, JSA.
But Hal Jordan is really firmly established himself as Green Lantern. There is no one else.
Yeah, but for me, not picking Barry, it's because I didn't grow up with him. He was already dead and everything. Hal was around. Good, bad, or Spectrum, and then Rebirth. Yeah. And even after Rebirth into Geoff Johns' 100 issue and everything, like he was still gone until Flash Rebirth. So it wasn't until like the late 2000s when he came back. So I was like, oh, this is Barry.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I'm like, screw this guy. Fuck Barry, because he gave us fucking 52 Flashpoint.
There you go.
Okay, so what we're saying here, though, is that we're trying to build you up so you can understand what's going on. So Hal Jordan went from Justice League to Ultimate Evil to Rebirth now is trying to find his redemption story now. And you start figuring out the Green Lantern weaknesses, why they are weaknesses, the Green Lantern strengths and why they are their strengths, why these 4 individuals are picked for Green Lanterns, okay?
And Geoff does a great job.
He does a great job of just connecting everything that was wrong with Green Lantern and making you understand, fixing that problem. Why yellow? Why yellow the fucking color that for some reason you can't pierce? You know, why? It goes into really great detail of all that. It finally fixes everything about that. Rebirth is just really great. It's a really great Green Lantern story. It's a really good beginning story. I don't think you really have to know anything about Green Lantern to get into Green Lantern.
And it was drawn amazing.
Like, beautiful art. Very beautiful. I really did like that. That made it easier on the eyes to kind of get into it all.
And it kind of recreated like a famous scene from the 80s. In this series and everything that Hal Jordan does.
So you start off like Kyle like flies a body, like he just crash lands on Earth, and he has the body of Hal Jordan. He's still in his Parallax outfit, and you're like, "Whoa, that's weird." Okay, and then you see Hal Jordan. He's the Spectre, and John Stewart and Guy Gardner are trying to, and they invite him to a baseball game to kind of, kind of like. Enjoy it
with the guys, the boys, and everything.
And Guy Gardner is saying why he respects him, but he was never really friends with Hal Jordan.
And Guy Gardner's the warrior at that time. He's no more a Lantern.
John Stewart is saying that Hal Jordan is pretty much the only guy he's ever trusted, with his life, with everything, and he's not a Green Lantern anymore either. They're just trying to enjoy a baseball game. Hal Jordan comes where he's in the Spectre persona already.
Right.
It's not even like probably 2 minutes before people just start coming to him,
confessing
their sins because
Gardner's the first one to say something.
Because that's what the Spectre is,
right?
So Hal's like, I can't really take this anymore. I gotta go. Sorry, guys.
Flies off.
In a way, he's always been isolated ever since he became the Spectre.
So he's like, fuck, he can't even enjoy that, And he's dressed up like an Air Force pilot too, because that's what Hal Jordan is. He was an Air Force.
I was going to ask you guys that to give us a little bit of background.
In a strange way, it's like, all right, he's paying for his past sins. He's back. He's helping, but in a strange way, he's still being punished for his sins in the past and everything. So it's like
you're not getting like a normal life.
No.
So, guys, we're getting really close to our next break where we're going to read comments. We've got quite a few comments come in. We want to take our time to read all of those. So we'll take a quick break. We can just probably
and we're going to get really deep into the Rebirth,
and we're going to talk a little bit about the origin.
Restroom break.
And Albert is going to take a restroom break, guys. So we'll be right back. But again, if you're joining us Facebook Live, we will be here. I'm going to read your comments again. If you're available to watch us on Facebook Live on Friday nights, we do go live every Friday night on Facebook. You can join the conversation, add your comments, questions, whatever it is you want to know about the topic, and we'll be here to answer them every 30 minutes or so, guys. So if you're listening to us on audio, you'll hear a quick blip, and then we'll be right back into all things Green Lantern Rebirth. Guys, and you're here with us on Facebook Live. You know we didn't go anywhere. We're still right here, except that Albert bounced out to go to the restroom, which is apparently becoming a new trend of our show here. Restroom breaks, guys.
No. We're trying. We're
not going to that double. You see him. Chuck has not gone to the bathroom yet on air. So, guys, let's get right into these comments. Hopefully, there's not a bunch of questions for Albert.
Go up a little bit.
So we're going to go up a little bit, guys. I did read one that was really cool. That was for
okay.
That was from Let me see. Oh, excuse me. Guys, you guys all stand. Is everybody staying warm? Am I going the right way? There we go.
Johnny, me and my bro-in-law would be there singing the songs, Joe.
Oh, over at the RCW shows? The TNA shows. TWA shows.
Michael Faith could move for a big man. Yeah, he could.
Yeah, he could. Michael Faith was really awesome, man. Rest in peace, Michael Faith.
Keep going down a little.
Let me see him going down a little bit here.
Right there, right where you're at, right.
All right there.
Priest, he's got a future.
Definitely.
Yeah, we saw him pretty good in Ring of Honor. He can move for a big man. Joe gives us the whole motto for the
We're saving it for the end. We'll do it at the end, Joe, for sure.
Yeah. Joe says finally another DC guy.
Albert's gonna want to hear that. We gotta let Albert know that.
Richard, Sinestro as main villain, correct? Yes,
that's right. That's right. Good job. I did ask that question, Rich. Say that. Rich, we got to get you some merch, man. I get you a sticker or something like that over
Richard
there.
says, "Wow, I did not know that about the Green Lantern. I'm guessing about when he went evil."
Yeah. Totally rogue, man.
Richard says, power-wise, is Green Lantern pretty powerful compared to the DC heroes and villains? The power ring is as powerful as the will of the person, correct? Yes, that's the whole thing about the ring. It's pretty much your willpower.
And I didn't know this, but this concept comes from the Green Lantern. But what it reminds me of is about Spawn. Spawn's powers were pretty much limited to your imagination.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have to. It was whatever Spawn could think of when you're in possession of whatever the necroplasm or whatever.
But the Green Lantern is super strong, and yes, it is pretty much the willpower of the person. You can pretty much stop any attack if you have that much strong willpower. Say maybe if Superman came at you and you put a wall up, depending on how strong your willpower is, you can probably stop Superman from even getting to you. So that is it's one of the strongest weapons in the universe.
Yeah, like it's not based on strength, really. It's
we've seen
it's
that
based on this.
We've seen that in action against Superboy Prime. Lanterns versus Prime.
Yeah. Joe says that's a great story. Hal was probably the ultimate Green Lantern. I like John Stewart. Way to go, Joe. I wish they would have put him in the Justice League movie.
And while you were on your break, Albert, and I got up to close the door, guys, not go to the restroom. Just so you know. I was back too quick. But Joe did say, nice to finally have another DC guy in the room.
Nice. Thank you.
So although you may disagree on wrestling,
Stewart
John is good.
Yeah, he was one of the great. He had a great run on Unlimited and Justice League.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, but remember what we were talking about earlier before we went on air. Technically, the first Lantern to make his appearance during the Superman and Batman animated series was Kyle Rayner. Yeah. Doing Superman.
The Superman episode. That was a good one too.
Yeah. When she goes up against Sinestro.
Yeah. So did we accurately answer Richard's question? Who asked was Green Lantern pretty powerful compared to other DC heroes?
He is powerful.
I think so.
He is right up.
I definitely think so.
There's been different versions of him, like Kingdom Come, Hal Jordan, Parallax, and then the regular DC. There's been different versions of Lanterns and everything. But yeah, like Hal Jordan, there's different versions of him, but he's up there.
Would you guys say that the question is kind of, it depends on who's in possession of the ring?
Sure.
So keeping in that same, let me ask you guys real quick. Would you say it's you? Each guy's got a ring. You throw in Kyle Rayner, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner. Who's coming out on top?
Hal. Probably.
Hal. The strongest.
Well, you know what? Right? Kyle is probably going to give you a good run for your money.
Yeah. But we got a couple of new recruits from Earth, like Jessica Cruz.
Yeah, that's right.
She's one of the new Lanterns right now.
Is that the one in the little kids cartoon, the DC girl? I've seen one. There's like a DC girls show. I think somebody stop me if I'm sounding crazy, but I've seen it before. It's like Supergirl's in there. And Wonder Woman's in there. It's a bunch of female characters.
It might be.
And there's a female. Yeah. She looks Latina, but I don't know if she is. So that's cool. So there's a new Green Lantern, a female. Yeah. And she's Latina?
Yeah.
That's badass.
They've introduced a couple of new Lanterns in the last couple of years. I don't remember the other guy. He had like a mask.
A mask, right?
Yeah, like a luchador mask or something like that. I forgot his name.
like that too. I like luchador mask. So Albert, answer me this question. I asked Double A this. Yes. So I thought that each sector got a Green Lantern.
Yeah. Why does
Earth has like fucking 5 or something.
Yeah. Why does Earth get that?
They're just giving out rings to us.
Well, it's funny you say that. I don't remember the reason. But I know Geoff talks about it. I don't remember. I think it's during Sinestro War. He explains why there's so many lanterns from Earth there, and they turn out to be some of the greatest lanterns of all time and everything. So
Jason says, I get my Red Hulk from Trader's Village. I need number 58.
Okay, we got you. Jason, where is it that you shop in Trader's Village specifically that you got your issue from? I would like to know.
Joe says that needs to be a movie. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I read
really
it,
would.
Joe, and I think that this would make a rad movie.
It's Ross, right? He's General Ross. That's the Red Hulk, or who is it?
Yeah, it's Ross. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Albert, so let me ask you, since Joe's talking about a movie here, Ryan Reynolds probably not your dream casting, right?
No, I actually like.
No, I like them. I like.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Did he embody the attitude?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It was just, it was
the movie's all over, right? The movie's
Yeah.
all over the place.
And then Parallax, like, oof.
Yeah, that was bad. They got something that you should have saved for a good build up, and they just rushed it.
And he looked
just like
awful.
Doomsday. Yeah. So it's just terrible.
I thought Doomsday looked like one of the trolls from Lords of the Rings.
He looked like Abomination.
Yeah. So they're gonna eventually do Green Lantern, right? Because DC can't.
I think there's rumors of doing it into HBO Max series. That
actually sounds pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. any dream casting? I
thought Ryan Reynolds was fine, but I know he's not going to do it again. But
when there's so many rumors that when they were bringing back Zack Snyder to finish the Snyder cut and everything, that Ryan Reynolds has a special appearance, but we don't know and everything. There's so many rumors out there, so we don't know who to trust or whatever.
Well, I want to hear who your casting dream would be for Hal Jordan. I'm going to give you mine.
Okay.
All right. He can't because he's busy right now. I want to know what you think.
I got one. Okay.
He's busy right now because he's busy being Walker, Texas Ranger.
Jared
Padalecki as Hal Jordan.
Wow.
You don't like it?
No, I didn't see that.
Tall guy?
I don't
youngish. All right, okay.
And I'm not winning
anyone over.
I was gonna say Chris Pine.
Too old.
You know what? I did like it.
He was already a pilot.
Yeah.
It could never happen. So he's Steve. He's in that universe.
Yeah, but before they play.
Boo! No, I don't want to. Y'all got to give me something better. I feel like it's a young guy.
Chris Evans was Human Torch and then Captain America.
And that's it. I think it's that's a fine point. Okay, let's get back into these comments here. Let's see.
Richard says, so there was no more Green Lantern since he became a bad guy. No, Kyle was the only one. Hal had totally destroyed.
See on one of these covers, Kyle Rayner.
Hal had totally destroyed the Green Lantern Corps, Richard. Only Kyle. Kyle was the only one that just, was a Green Lantern. Hal got rid of all of them.
But kill them all, and then Lanterns start returning.
They start coming back, but for a good long while, Kyle was the only Green Lantern. Joe says you're the hero long enough to become the villain.
That's right. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, good old Dark Knight.
It's kind of like Wally. Like Wally was the only Flash for a long time. Like he was the only Flash member of the family and everything until like in the 2000s, like Mercury, Jay, all of them started giving them more of a spotlight and everything. The Flash family started growing.
Joe says yes. He goes back and recons a lot, makes a lot if it's canon.
Yeah, that's great. That's a really good thing about Geoff Johns. I do agree with that. That's you need somebody like that can rein in those inconsistencies and fix it and make it concise. And that's really tough to do because we've all seen something that has a lot of loopholes, and you imagine like I got to go in and fill in all these fucking blanks. Like, I mean, I'm gonna go Star Wars on you guys, but that's what. A lot of people criticized, the Death Star, they built it with this damn flaw, blah, blah. And Rogue One,
fixes it.
And it fixes it in such an amazing and beautiful way.
Well, it's funny you should say that. In a strange way, like Rebirth and Lantern has a lot of elements of
Star Wars, right?
Jedi,
yeah. I think that's great. You can't go wrong with Star Wars.
Richard says, who is the best DC villain that's out there and why? With power or just man? Darkseid. For me, it's Darkseid. He's the ultimate DC villain.
Right now, I gotta go right now with Batman Who Laughs.
Okay. Very popular right now.
Yeah, Dark Metal was crazy. That guy, like Bruce Wayne, Batman as a Joker.
For me, if you're saying I'm ultimate villain, it's Darkseid.
So, Albert, give us a little bit of background. Tell us about you. You mentioned the Batman Who Laughs, but that's a very specific character. Who is that character?
Is Bruce Wayne? It's Batman. It was doing Dark Metal, where he. In a different DC universe, like the Joker infects him. He makes him snap. He makes him break the Joker's neck. And when he breaks his neck, some toxic comes out, like the Joker toxic.
Okay.
And it affects him and it starts making him go crazy. And then he kills all the Bat family. And he uses the gun. He guns them down.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's rowdy.
And then he infects Superman with the Joker toxic. and he makes him kill Lois and his son right in front of him, and he's just there laughing.
That's rough stuff right there. And this is if you guys have seen this image a lot, if you're at all into comic books, but it's the Batman with the spikes across the eye. Yeah, almost like a crown of spikes.
To me,
it's a really cool image.
It is.
Darkseid is a legend. He's an icon. He's Thanos of
Jack
DC.
Kirby creation.
Yeah, but right now, like
the fourth Thanos.
Yeah, but right now, the most famous, I would say, the most famous villain right now, the current most famous villain is the Batman who laughs right now.
Nice. And for me, Rich, to answer your question, I'm gonna go with the Joker only because you're as villainous as if you're trying to measure villainy, it's about like not. I wouldn't even say like about power necessarily, but it's about more like how villainous are your actions. Now that shit,
and that's what he's saying. What power just meant. So Richard did say that.
So definitely, I would say
and going back to 52, which I hated, but that was like one of the during 52, the best run or the best comic during that was Batman. And the Joker, my God, they wrote him fantastic. The stories they did with him in 52 with Batman, Snyder, and what was his name? Coppola.
Greg Capullo.
Yeah.
Capullo. Oh, yeah. Spawn stuff. Great.
Yes, their 52 run was amazing.
That's beautiful art.
Yeah, their 52 run was amazing and everything. To me,
52 did have a lot of beautiful art, right? Didn't Jim Lee do a lot of that?
Yeah.
The art is great.
Justice League, when it first rebooted and everything, that was it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, now, he could be the greatest if they actually wrote him right, but Black Adam.
Ooh.
He could be the greatest DC villain there is. He could kick Darkseid's ass by himself.
If you have his first appearance, and when it comes out with The Rock,
and Superman, he could be Superman because his whole body is magic. So,
do you think they're gonna? You think they're gonna recast Superman again?
I hope not. I love Henry Cavill, and I think he's a great Superman. He just didn't get a fair shake. It's like not his fault. The those were shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Joe says I think fourth is GL
on the Mount Rushmore
house. GL.
So that's 2. Are you still on the fence?
No, I mean for me, I would like to say Green Lantern because I'm just a big fan.
Because you're a fan.
I'm a big fan. But
these books are yours here. I mean,
Yes. So I mean, for me, it just be that. It's hard because Aquaman has such a big legacy. Flash has such a big legacy. Green Lantern has a big legacy.
And there was such a big gap between. There are several generations that were born with Wally, not Barry.
Right.
So it forever, and then right now there's.
I would love Hal to be the fourth guy.
Yeah.
So
maybe there's some people like me that think like, hey, Barry's to blame that DC went downhill for a while, and Wally did not get his first chance when Wally was our Flash. And he's faster than Barry.
That's interesting too, right? Where it's like it's measured, it's already been.
No, it's been proven that Wally is the fastest Flash.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a great question here. Oh, hold on, let me get here.
Joe says I think they're looking at doing a Hal Jordan and John Stewart together movie.
Yeah, those are the rumors that
are for.
You know what? Just do it. Why not do a Green Lantern Corps?
But it's Guy Gardner, right? And John Stewart, right? It's not Hal, right?
But HBO Max,
Guy, right? It's Guy, right?
I'm not too sure.
I think it's Guy.
So, guys, how about this? You do a show on HBO Max. You call it Green Lantern Corps, and you focus different episodes on different Green Lanterns.
Man, I'd be for it.
Build them up.
I'd be up for it.
I would love the Stewart and Hal Jordan team up.
I think Guy Gardner would be funny though.
Like
with John,
it'd be like the other guy's version. Hal Jordan would be Mark Wahlberg, and Guy Gardner would be Will Ferrell. That'd be great.
And Joe did say his fourth. He means the Hal Jordan.
The Hal Jordan.
And then we got a really great question right here from Rich, who says, "To know more about Green Lantern, where should I start?" Guys, I'll let you guys take that away. But can somebody give me a beer first?
Oh, I got
Richard, I think I would start off with
this one.
That's good. Thank you, sir.
Maybe the late 80s, 90s one where he already has the white streaks with Pat Broderick. I don't know who the writer was at that time.
Yeah.
Is there a trade though that you guys could direct him to?
Actually, I got 2 right here, Richard. This one is called Emerald Dawn. It's a 6-issue series of pretty much how he got picked and kind of like why he deserved to be a Green Lantern. And then this is Emerald Dawn 2. This is where he got accepted into the Green Lantern Corps, and he gets trained by Sinestro, who was a Green Lantern right here. And it tells you why Sinestro got kicked out of the Green Lantern Corps. So if I were you, I would get these 2 trade paperbacks, Emerald Dawn and Emerald Dawn 2. I think these would be a great starter pack for anyone who wants to get into Green Lantern. I think these would be really good.
And I'm in that same boat with you, Rich. And for what do you think?
And for the modern people, like those who don't know too much about Green Lantern and everything, the Rebirth is a great start. And let me
put it in the camera here.
And what is it, Cad?
This is the story that we're talking about today, right now.
And then start off with Geoff Johns' Green Lantern #1.
Yeah, which is right there.
Yeah. And just read, and it will lead up to
probably the greatest sequel to Rebirth. I mean, to anything. The Sinestro Corps War. What a great battle that was.
And this is the one that started that whole series.
Yeah, that's part 2. What CM is showing you. And this right here is part 1. So these 2 trades you can find them anywhere, just about anywhere.
The one right here on your right started as a one-shot.
Yeah. So these 2 are really good. This is a great sequel to Rebirth.
Yeah.
I love the art.
Which there's a funny story, or there's a story I want to tell about Sinestro War.
And real quick, before Albert tells you, this is like the one-shots. The Tales of the Sinestro Corps.
That introduces new characters. Superboy Prime is in there, and
this would be a really good pickup. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Those are one shots. That third one I showed you, those are one shots.
But the year Sinestro War came out, the Sinestro Corps and everything, that was the year. Like the biggest comic event that year was World War Hulk.
Yeah, which was amazing.
Yeah, there was so much hype.
I hope to someday to even break down on that one.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
And these guys, like, they're talking about him, like Will, Boy, his brothers, like all the guys, like from our group and everything. Like, dude, you gotta read it. I'm like, all right, I'll read it. I started picking it up and everything, and it was good and everything. But
this one blew.
This is the one.
Away.
This is the one issue. Like, this is the event no one saw coming. And then all of a sudden it got hot. Like you cannot find it.
Yeah.
You had to get like second printing, third printings, fourth printings. And thank you, Mario and Pete. Because those were in my box. Yeah. So I was safe. I had those, but I was still buying like 2 or 3 copies of them and everything. Thank you, Mario and Pete. And but it just started off selling World War Hulk to my surprise. And I was like, whoa, no way. Because we'll start checking out the most comics sold on Wizards and everything. And we're like, whoa, Green Lantern 1 and everything. And for the longest time, Marvel was just winning. They dominated almost like every top 10 spot and everything. Yeah. And it wasn't until Green Lantern Rebirth, Green Lantern was the only one cracking the top 10 and everything. He was the only DC character at that time, just cracking it, like the top 10. He was the only one carrying the DC flag at that time because Superman was fighting bugs. I don't know what Batman was doing. Wally was just being a smartass. Like
everybody fights bugs at some time in their superhero career. Albert,
didn't the Hulk get beaten up by bikers at one time?
That did. I think he did. Fight bikers at one time.
The Abler called them. I think it was the biker mice from Mars that beat him up.
You must also fight bikers at one time in your superhero career. But
during that time, it was like Green Lantern was the only one carrying the DC flag
Richard,
at that time.
Anyone that me and Albert have showed you would be just a great spot to pick up.
And then the third, because it's kind of like a trilogy. The Geoff Johns trilogy run is the Green Lantern Rebirth, Sinestro War, and then the Blackest Night.
But if you want to know like the origins, I would recommend Emerald Dawn and Emerald Dawn 2.
Yeah. But Blackest Night, Geoff Johns does a great job bringing some dead characters that were dead for a long time. Like Ronnie, Firestorm, Hawk and Dove. Oh my God, there were so many. Captain Boomerang. There were so many characters, bad guys and good guys, that came back to life during Blackest Night. But Geoff Johns, he did an amazing job. He had an amazing run with the Green Lantern, and he brought a lot of characters to life.
Okay, Jason said it's been a long time. I've been to Traders. Hopeful Mario will have it. You know what? Mario's going to be open on the last weekend of this month, and he says he's going to have some major sales. So that might be the time to check it out.
Check him out then, Jason, for that.
Joe says power Darkseid, but villain Joker.
Nice.
Snyder, Joe says Snyder Capullo 52 run was awesome. The Court of Owls to start, then the Joker run. Joe says no, I like Henry Cavill.
Agree.
Joe again says, come on, when we would go out and play, no one was like, I'm Aquaman.
The hard truth, man.
Joe says HBO Max has a few Green Lantern animated movies and the series. Okay. I want to jump on those. I have not seen them yet.
I'll check that out.
I want to jump on them.
I will definitely check out. Yeah. I didn't know that there was Green Lantern animated stuff.
Yes, there is.
I'll watch that.
Yeah.
All right.
2 seasons of 26 episodes. So
yeah, and then the animated movies. I think the
First Flight.
Yeah, I think the guy that did. Oh my god, he was in Firefly. Nathan
Fillion.
He does the voice for the animated movies.
Okay,
yeah.
I like that.
He's the dream casting for a lot of people to actually be Hal Jordan.
Oh yeah, before Ryan Reynolds, they wanted him. Yeah,
he got to lose a little weight though. He's got
Joe says awesome cover. Joe also says Sinestro deserves his own series.
I definitely dig the Sinestro character. I think it's kind of cool.
The actor that plays Sinestro in the movie, I think they cast him perfect.
He was good.
He was good.
He looked cool too. I thought he looked.
They nailed it.
Is that guy somebody we know?
Yes, he comes out in the first Sherlock Holmes movie. He's the villain of that one.
Oh yeah.
And then he comes out in the Kingsman. He's like the Q of the Kingsman.
Yeah.
You remember with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like the Blackthorn and
yes.
I think his name was Mark Strong.
Yes. I think so.
That might be right. That might be right. Awesome. Well
Richard says, okay, thanks for that information, AA and Albert. They look like good reads. They are good reads.
These guys would know, Rich, for sure.
Joe says, y'all can do War or Hulk like that Ovan Logan episode you did. I would like to go into that.
I'm definitely down with that.
Richard says, why do y'all think DC gets the credit it deserves, doesn't get the credit it deserves? And you think the comics are a hard read, or is it that the movies that messed it up? DC is...
Rich, you always bring the fire questions, my man.
What's wrong with DC has always been a problem is that the heroes are just always too perfect.
Wait, are we talking comics or movies?
Well,
or in
comics
general?
now. In comics, in the comics, that it doesn't get the credit like Marvel does.
Yeah.
You know, you got someone like Magneto. He's like a Holocaust survivor. You really don't have anyone on DC's that has that depth.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Doom, you know, his mother's in hell. Yeah. You know, the Thing. He's a hero, but he hates being the Thing.
Creature. Yeah. There's like a tragic side to it.
DC, everything is like magic. You know, everything's fine. Everything's happy. All the heroes always win
until 52.
But that's later, and I think that's the criticism DC always gets is that the heroes they're always triumphant. There is no tragedy. They always have perfect lives. Where Marvel you can relate more to the Marvel characters than you can to the DC characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but kind of going back to the question, like the 90s stuff what we're talking about when Batman broke his back, Bane broke his back, Superman dying, Hal Jordan, like they went dark before it was dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They tried it and everything.
And then
and no one remembers it because it was the only thing they remember.
It's a hard time.
It was the death of Superman. That's the only thing.
That's the only thing overshadowed.
It was too much at once. I think you could have easily spread those things out over several maybe years. And it would have been like, damn, the big event was like Green Lantern went bad this year. The big event.
It was just all too close together,
yeah,
right?
And then another thing I think that kind of went against them was the X-Men anime series because that blew up. Yeah, it wasn't until later on the Batman anime series came back, but it just focused on Batman.
Yeah.
So the X-Men had the whole universe.
And it doesn't help too when people are jumping on like that's fire at the time. That everyone's on the X, so everyone wants to go look up X-Men comics. They want more of what they're not.
And
getting
that Jim Lee run at the early '90s.
Oh my god, it was really excellent.
Yeah. Richard that says too. Do you think the comics are a hard read? I think they are, Richard. I
had a little trouble.
It's hard to get into Superman a lot of times. The only one that's really written good is Batman.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's the only comic that always seems to be written very well.
I think that's their moneymaker. So when they get money for a big writer, they push it all there.
And Batman.
Right.
That's it,
no, I agree. Now, there is a lot of good stuff that I have read, Rich. Like, right now you got Bendis on Superman, right? I haven't read any of it. But
it's funny you say that because I was going to suggest Superman right now. It's been one of the best runs I've read in a long time.
Before that, right, Albert?
Oh, yeah.
DC's always
I like Dan Jurgens is good. And Straczynski was good. Superman. You're right. You're right.
When in a strange way, the aftermath of 52, they had to bring pre-52 Superman back.
But what comics can you recommend of Flash? What comics can you recommend of Aquaman?
Which Flash?
Any Woman. Flash. What comics can you recommend of Wonder Woman? What comics about Martian Manhunter?
Yeah.
I mean, you could recommend X-Men stories all day. You could recommend Spider-Man stories all day.
Yeah.
You could recommend, Avengers stories.
But maybe because that's our wheelhouse. See, here's the thing that we talked about before.
Story arcs are legendary of Aquaman.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's an excellent point.
There's a couple of good stories with Bard, Teen Titans as Kid Flash, but when he becomes the Flash, but that was aftermath Infinite Crisis and everything, but not that got kind of overshadowed. It was a good run because he was an adult and he became the Flash finally. But I mean, the DC comics you recommend people are like the big events, the Kingdom Comes, the Crisis on Infinite Earths,
Death of the Family, Killing Joke, Dark Knight Returns,
Batman.
They're all Batman. Yeah, I know a lot of Batman shit. Sorry.
The most recent good one was Doomsday Clock.
Okay.
Yeah,
but see, that was another big event.
An event.
Yeah, that was a big event, which that goes back to one of your favorite stories, like The Watchmen. And was almost technically a great sequel to Watchmen.
Yeah,
because like it kind of gives you an update to what the aftermath.
Still, it's a story that involves everyone.
Yeah,
it's not a story that involves Aquaman. It's not a story that involves Wonder Woman.
Like the epic Aquaman.
So, Richard, I would say, DC is very hard to read because they don't focus on it anymore.
And there's always a crisis every 5 or 10 years.
And the movies I think mess them up, except for the first 2 Superman movies in the Christopher Reeve. I think those are solid.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, the first Michael Keaton. I know a lot of people like Batman Returns. I really don't too much. And then the Christopher Nolan, which I think is the best trilogy of comic book movies.
Very awesome, I think.
Yeah.
I'll say this though, Rich. Here's some things that I think that DC does get right, because we talked about this before. I said if I asked you who are the big 3 of DC, you would not hesitate to know the answers.
Yeah.
You know the answers. It's Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Now, if I asked you who's the big 3 of Marvel, we're gonna all have different answers.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay, why is that? Also, if I ask you who is the most established and powerful woman in DC, you know that it's Wonder Woman. If I ask you that same question about Marvel, you don't have an answer.
Nope.
That means that there's no dominant woman force in Marvel.
You can easily say it's Storm,
but
you can easily say it's Wanda. You know what I mean?
Maybe
because even Storm got elevated to Omega level status.
Right.
You can say
there's one thing,
Captain Marvel. But at the same time, nobody feels the way about her. Women or girls don't feel the way about her. They feel about Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is the icon. That's
right. Yeah. So DC did do stuff right. Now, if you were going to ask me that question again, I would say this is where they're fucking up. Excuse me, DC, is because their bad guys for those other characters suck. You need better bad guys for Wonder Woman. You need better bad guys for Aquaman.
Yeah.
Well, what did we say earlier? Name me a Wonder Woman villain besides. Now, we're not recording any of this, by the way, on the audio. This is huge.
Time out.
Go.
There's one thing that DC that does perfect. That Marvel has never been able to really compete with. And that's the animated series. Animated movies.
Yeah.
When it comes to animation, DC dominates.
But see, why can't they do it right with the movies?
Right.
Hey, and during the animations, that's where we got introduced Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn didn't make her debut in the comics.
It was in the not arguing that, but it's just like you have your established 3. You know who they are.
Yeah.
Any decade, anyone, it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
With Marvel, it changed from Wolverine, Spider-Man to Hulk, to Iron Man, Captain America, to
you know, I think we had this talk one time.
It just varies.
Yeah. It's not Wolverine anymore. It's not Spider-Man anymore. Yeah. It's not Hulk anymore.
Well, in the movies, Captain Marvel, the movie, right? I think they're going to run into the same problem they have with Superman.
Too overpowered?
She's too powerful. And we're getting like D-class villains for her.
Yeah.
And Superman, I mean, come on. We're sick and tired of Kryptonite and Lex.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree.
He has too many good rogue villains.
We did a whole episode on this. Yeah. And you know who
but in the MCU, in the MCU, I think that they might run into the same problem with Captain Marvel. Like, well, who's our Cyborg Superman?
I agree.
Who's our Mongo? Who's our Doomsday?
Well, that's my point, though, Albert. See, it's like when we talked about this earlier before you got here. We said if you talk about Wonder Woman, you say name me another Wonder Woman villain besides Cheetah.
No, maybe someone else.
Aquaman. Name me another. Besides Black Manta.
Oh,
I can't.
Baba's brother. I forgot his name.
Exactly.
Orca. Is his name Orca? Is he named after a whale?
Exactly, though. You know,
that's the point. That's the point. You're a DC guy, and I'm betting the DC guys out here. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not those good characters' faults. Aquaman is a good character. Flash, Green Lantern, they're all good. They have shitty villains. You're only as good as your worst villain. I need someone. I think Parallax is awesome,
but it's Hal Jordan though.
It's the good guy turned bad, right? So that's there's not a lot to that. But
in the last couple of years, I will say, not being biased again with Green Lantern, but the last couple of years, Green Lantern, they have created some really great villains for him, like the Red Lanterns.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was cool.
Sure.
I thought all that ring shit was cool. I bought those rings without even knowing that story.
But with Green Lantern, he's one of those rare cases where the new villains that they created blew up. Like, it became popular because in the last couple of years, like, what other villain and for what other superhero just blew up like that? You know.
So Richard, to answer your thing, they mess up on their movies. They're really good on animation. The comics are hard to read. They even have that whole segment in Kill Bill Part 2 with Superman.
That's a great.
If you're like me, you kept up with DC all these years. Okay. Like, you know your shit. It's not going to affect you. But if you're just jumping in right now, you're like, what the fuck's going on? Like, who's this guy?
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Joe says, like Peter Parker has everyday problems you can relate to.
Right.
That's the thing. Joe also says, what Marvel came out the cards to make people want to read more. Yes, it did. Mm-hmm. Grant Morrison, Joe again. Grant Morrison run for Superman, Batman were both good.
Love Grant Morrison.
I think Grant Morrison is the one who kind of like made Batman what it is now, with him being like the one who knows everything.
Grant Morrison,
about everything.
I loved his run with Batman and Robin, but that's when Dick Grayson was Robin. When Dick Grayson was Batman and Damian.
Interesting. Okay.
Grant Morrison.
Joe says AA was the best trilogy altogether. I think it's just a Dark Knight. I think it's a perfect trilogy that I don't think any other trilogy has gotten right. Maybe the closest is Captain America trilogy.
That's my number one.
The Iron Man trilogy blows.
The third Christopher Nolan.
You don't think the Bane one was good? I thought that was great.
The first half was great, and then it got messy. Like, he could walk again after 3 months. Like, he just broke his back, and then how did you get to Gotham? And then like all these things. Like,
honestly though, Avengers: Age of Ultron, I think is weak. The Iron Man movies just blow. I'm sorry, they do. The Thor movies have never really been strong.
Ragnarok was awesome.
Okay, but what
I actually like Dark World.
But are you going to see Dark World?
No.
Okay,
I like that because it focuses on their relationship.
He even makes fun of Dark World.
Yeah, I know.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Dark Elves.
I think when you're talking about trilogies, I think Captain America is the closest.
Yeah, that's my number one. Yeah. But the Dark Knight trilogy is very close.
The Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi trilogy, man, Part 3 is bad.
Yeah, that one is so bad it ruins the other ones almost.
Emo Tobey Maguire.
It doesn't ruin Part 2. Spider-Man 2 is good.
Yeah,
Spider-Man 3 has some good parts, but as a whole, no. Part 3 just is bad.
I like where you guys are at with Dark Knight and Captain America. Those probably are the two best comic book trilogies that are out there or whatever. And you can say
even like the original Supermans, 3 and 4 are bad movies.
No, they're just bad.
Batman trilogy, that 4 sequel.
It's hard to get a lot of them in a right. You know what I mean? So let's finish with the comments, guys. Get back in the cards.
I think Jim Lee has more hand in the animated depth, and they could use a lot more. Yeah, Jim Lee's good. Richard says, I agree the animations are great for DC. Yes, we have always said that. Joe says it's why Batman and Spider-Man work so well is the villains. Yes, they do.
Totally.
Richard says, I think it has to go with merchandising the superheroes. Superman is powerful, but there are heroes and villains that are more powerful than Superman, and no one talks about that.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to make him the underdog, which is almost impossible.
Yeah, stop Lex. Stop with the Lex shit.
We've seen it and we've done it, and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, there's a rock, kryptonite. Yeah. Oh no.
Joe says, yes, Batman and Robin will make Charles cry. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah.
Joe says, I did like Dark Superman in 3. Yeah, I mean that's the highlight of 3 is when he's Bizarro.
That's essentially Bizarro. I love that part.
But as the movie as a whole, that movie's bad.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. The Richard Pryor scenes. I mean, it's a great comic, Richard Pryor, but all that is
weird
like,
role
what's
for him.
going on?
Yeah,
that's a weird role.
But I love Alcoholic Superman. I love Alcoholic Superman. He's going,
which I think they've established is supposed to be bizarre.
Yeah, and he's over there going for booty calls too.
Yeah, which was also rad too.
I drink to Superman on that.
Cheers to that. Cheers to
Superman.
Booty call Superman. Can you imagine if you ever got drunk? Like, oh my God, you could hit up any city at any night.
Guys, this has been one of the best comic reading breakdowns in our break. I gotta tell everyone right now back on the audio that you missed a big ass chunk and you come back. So wait, hang on a second. Let me bring us back into the audio fray. And we can keep going here.
I think we just had like a Mallrats moment right there.
Total Mallrats moment. Guys, if you're just rejoining us on the audio, I would never ever say this, but please go back and watch
on YouTube
or Facebook Live, because we just had a huge we had
Mallrat moments. We had like a Mallrats moment.
Right all there. The credit to Rich. Rich has been bringing the fire questions and had us all talking, and Joe had us all talking DC and why it is. It's sometimes like not as great.
Coaster.
You know what I mean? A roller coaster.
Roller coaster. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, really worth going back to listen to. On again, this will be up on YouTube tonight, and it'll be on Facebook here as long as Facebook keeps it here until they throw us off.
Go back and check out our Mallrats moment where Superman could get any ass in any city, any moment,
and drunk
pretty much
Superman,
any minute.
Yeah, Superman and Superman 3, just the tops, guys. But the real reason that we've been here tonight, guys, we're talking Green Lantern Rebirth.
In our season 2 finale, we are breaking down Rebirth, the redemption story of Hal Jordan.
Episode 50, guys. Technically, it's kind of technically. And Double A wearing the yellow ring here if you're joining us on Facebook Live, guys. You know, every Friday night we go live on Facebook so you can join the conversation. And if you did tonight, shit, you missed a hell of a one. We went about 30 minutes in the break additional, but this part super awesome.
Okay, guys, so we're breaking down Rebirth. We're breaking down the redemption story of Hal Jordan, I would say DC's Anakin Skywalker almost.
Wow, okay, that's a bold
because
statement.
of how far down he goes on the evil side of the
There's a lot of elements of a Jedi and Star Wars story here on the Rebirth.
And that's funny because you weren't initially a Star Wars guy. You kind of got into it later on.
No, I always appreciate the original trilogy. God, I hated
but
that's a different episode. Or do you want me back? How much I hated that and everything.
But you can see the redemption. Someone that was called the greatest Green Lantern, just like Anakin was called the greatest Jedi.
And then the darkness takes over.
The darkness takes over. He's the one that destroys the corpse, just like Anakin destroys the Jedi.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
and
all there.
You got the Green Lantern Corps, like we said, like the Jedi. They're essentially the peacekeepers of the universe.
Yeah, 3,600 members of this.
They're like the space cops. They're like
they are.
What are we in Marvel? It's the Nova Corps.
The Nova Corps,
right?
A knockoff.
Not nearly as cool, and that's saying a lot.
The helmet talks, right, or something.
I don't know. It's bullshit. I would rather have a Green Lantern ring than a Nova Corps, whatever the fuck they're doing. And I'm a Marvel guy.
Their Hal Jordan version is what, Richard Rider?
Richard Rider.
Yeah.
Whack. Yeah. But when DC fought Marvel in the fan voting, they put
Surfer.
But it was against Kyle Rayner.
It was, but I think it was
Hal
Jordan and Kyle Rayner. I think Silver Surfer still would have came out on top.
Yeah, well, Silver
Surfer.
Yes, Surfer's power is pretty like.
I mean, all those matches were mismatched. So
it was.
We're not even going to go into that. We're not going to go into.
Yeah, we'll get, but I'm just saying for those that are curious.
Is that the one where Batman went up against the Hulk?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not that one. The one I'm talking about, he fought Cap. And people were mad about that because he beat Cap.
Yeah, he beat Cap.
I think Batman could take out Cap.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, we don't want to go down a rabbit hole.
First of all, he has a whole company in business. He could just aim a whole bunch of guns.
Guys, if you're joining us on the Facebook Live, we invite you to keep commenting during this conversation. We're talking about Green Lantern Rebirth. Green Lantern, a character you might not all be too familiar with besides a poorly done Ryan Reynolds movie. But a really awesome character who I'm just learning about, and to these two guys are pretty much, I would consider, experts in the subject matter.
So us three have already broken down what happened to Hal Jordan. So now we're getting into Rebirth. Geoff Johns wants to tackle the Hal Jordan storyline, wants to redeem him. First thing he does is, like, again, we go into the first issue, and Kyle is transporting, for some reason, Hal Jordan's dead body.
But still Parallax.
Like, he's still dressed in the Parallax outfit.
Right.
Okay, and you're like, wow, this is weird. What the hell's going on?
And Gambit says he was preserved.
Yes.
This
and if I remember right, Kilowatt's after him, right?
Yeah. But that's later.
Yeah.
Right now, then you find out Hal Jordan, he's the host of the Spectre. Mm-hmm. He's trying to get together, blah, blah, blah. All these strange things starts happening. all these weird things start happening.
Mm-hmm.
Albert, tell us what's going on afterwards. They try going to baseball game. They try making it normal for how
he can't last 5 minutes. He can't enjoy his beer.
He tries to go see Carol.
Yeah,
which is his ex that is remarried now, but he's still, I guess, it's like she's kind of always like the love interest, right?
Always,
always.
Is that who's in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
And she
Blake
becomes,
Lively.
What's her name?
Star Sapphire.
Yeah.
She is the one with the pink ring.
Oh, nice.
The love.
That's
ring.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, guys, so Spectre. I know this kind of sounding maybe it might feel a little bit confusing because I kind of felt that way.
No, he's a major entity of the magic area.
He calls himself the Spirit of Vengeance.
Yes.
Which I know is Ghost Rider in the Marvel world, whatever.
But in DC, they have Dr. Fate, they have Zatanna, Spectre is one of
them.
Constantine,
they're all part of
the magical world.
Yeah, the magical world. Okay, cool. So
I dig that. I like that.
So for some reason, they're trying to get Hal Jordan's body. They're trying to, I don't know, put him to peace almost, bring him back.
I think they're trying to, how do you say, reunite
Hal
Jordan with his body.
But try to burn off the Parallax.
Yeah, he wants to. They want Hal Jordan to move on too, kind of go to heaven or whatever.
Kyle Rayner is saying that it has a name. That's the thing that it keeps repeating. It has a name. Fear has a name, and then that's when you discover about the Parallax entity. Yeah. So you're thinking,
in a strange way, it was almost like in a Transformer movie. Optimus Prime's body and everything, they bring it back and everything, and they find it, and same thing with Parallax.
So Geoff Johns writes this origin story finally, where Kyle tells John Stewart and Guy Gardner Parallax wasn't Hal Jordan. It was this fear entity that was the color yellow. Yeah. This old entity of fear.
And it explains the white hair. It's white stripe right here.
It explains that a long time ago, it fed on fear. It grew in power.
He was infected a long time ago.
Yeah. And, the Guardians, they got together and they sealed him away with willpower. Okay. And they needed people. They needed their Green Lantern Corps. They needed a corps to kind of people that would stand up to fear, that wouldn't be afraid of fear, to make sure and reinforce that Parallax would stay in prison.
But I think he was always in the rings or in the battery or something.
Yes.
And it wasn't until the events right there, the Superman, the return of Superman.
So Parallax for a long time was dormant until it started looking for someone that it could break. A host that it could break. And somewhere along the way, it gets its hands on Hal Jordan. Yeah. It gets, it seeps into his ring.
The events the Coast City events where losing it.
But Hal is he's still able to fight it off, but he doesn't even know it yet. Right. He doesn't know there's something in it.
He's essentially sick, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah. And he starts noticing his hair changing and
gets white hair at a very early age. And he's like, wow, that's weird.
Which in the 90s they never really explained.
They don't
in the Rebirth.
I was going to ask you guys that. Was that just before we know that it becomes part of? Was that just an artist choice to?
It was.
Like a random
in the late
give the guy
80s,
gray hair at his.
In the 80s, early 90s, he has white hair.
He goes all Reed Richards on this.
And Geoff Johns kind of explains that even the small details, there's a story or next.
I love writing like that.
And there's a great shot too where he's looking in a mirror. He's like, "What the fuck's going on? I'm aging already. Wow, this is weird."
Almost overnight.
Yes, because he's supposed to be a man in his prime 30s. Just filled with energy, filled with strength.
He was Tom Cruise. He was Maverick.
Yeah, guys. Hal Jordan. To give you guys a little bit of background, if you don't know anything about the Green Lantern, his kind of Clark Kent story is that he's a United States Air Force pilot, test pilot, brave guy. Dad was a pilot.
Womanizer, cocky as hell,
right?
Just
bravado,
confidence.
He was not
super confident.
Did not fear anything.
Did not fear nothing.
Very cool. They reference him. They call him in these books the man without fear, neat, like a daredevil thing.
So he starts noticing white hair. He's like, oh, okay, whatever, right, whatever. Some other stories that they write where he goes on road trips with Green Arrow. Self-discovery, whatever you want to call it.
Long-time best friend.
Doubts. Kind of just traveling the world without using the ring too much, without relying on the ring. wanting to feel like he's in control, not the ring. He's in control.
That's cool.
Giving him doubts though, I don't need the ring.
Right.
It's just me. I can do it without the ring. Giving him doubts, giving him scares, giving him fear. Fear.
Okay, there it comes.
Okay, fear of, I might die this next time, I might not. Something that he had never worried about ever in his early adventures.
And it was like Parallax just infecting them,
just little by little. And Geoff Johns connects those old stories of all that.
He makes more sense of it.
It makes a whole lot of sense. Why yellow? Because the Parallax entity is yellow. It's a fear color, so
it's almost like a subconscious thing. That you don't know it's there, but it's there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of like you joking around, like, oh, mustard would take him down, like
right.
And so slowly, when Cold City gets blown up, that's when Parallax firmly gets his grips on Hal Jordan and makes him succumb. So it's kind of like, okay, cool. So it wasn't really Hal Jordan; it was this Parallax entity that grabbed a hold of him, and it was really Parallax that was kind of doing all these things. He was in control of Hal. Hal wasn't even there anymore. Hal, he was just really using Hal's body. Hal was gone.
Yeah,
there was no Hal. It was all Parallax. It got a hold of him. It got a hold of the greatest Green Lantern there ever was, and it subdued him. It became his host.
It took advantage of his grief, his anger,
everything.
And everything.
Yeah.
So pretty smart because it attacked the top of there.
Yeah, and look what he did. He got rid of the entire Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
The single force that was keeping Parallax in check. He got rid of all of them. Just like that. Boom. Gone. So I was like, okay, cool. So Geoff Johns kind of explained why all of that happened. Why the yellow.
Right.
Why they had to be cocky like they had to be.
Yeah.
Why they had to be strong with willpower in order to subdue, to not be afraid.
Yeah.
To fight off not only the beings they were fighting, but also the Parallax being that was inside their own central battery.
Right.
And when one of them couldn't do it, their greatest one couldn't do it, it broke out.
That's it.
And then we find out, Sinestro actually didn't die in issue 50.
Yeah. And I think he knew about that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Him and Parallax were talking inside the battery.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Okay, and that wasn't even like the real Sinestro. It was like a what do you call it? Like a
projection?
A projection. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. It was a projection. It wasn't even him.
Mm-hmm.
And Sinestro was like, that was funny to him. It was funny. Like, the greatest Green Lantern, the greatest Green Lantern, and you failed, you cracked under pressure.
And he's like, look, you killed me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's it.
Yeah, you killed me.
But that was we wanted to see. Are you susceptible to this Parallax, this creature?
Yeah,
it opens up that door, and you're just like, oh man, like what the fuck? Like,
it's
so thought out.
Yeah, Sinestro like you're not as good at you're nowhere near like you thought you were. You're just like me.
Yeah, he's almost owning it. He's almost saying like I'm this way, but I know I'm this way.
Yeah,
you're this way too, but you're trying to act like you're not this way.
Yeah, in a strange way, he took a page out of the Joker's playbook with that.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yes. But you know what he does too in this rebirth? He elevates Sinestro to a place he hasn't been to in a long time, where Kyle makes a remark that Guy Gardner is always like, you make fun of Black Hand, you make fun of Hector Hammond, you make fun of all these other guys, but he never says one word.
I thought that was so
Sinestro.
Cool.
Never one word.
The one villain of Green Lantern that I know is Sinestro or whatever, and they specifically almost reference that in this book where he says this guy shows up, Sinestro, and this is the one guy that the other guy, Guy Gardner, would always make fun of the Green Lantern's villains. Like, oh man, you like pretty much like you're fighting scrubs. He's like, but I never mentioned this guy, and then that guy shows up, and you're like,
it really elevates Sinestro to a place he hasn't been to in a long time. Sinestro should be up there with the Dark Side, with the Black Adam, with all those guys,
with the Joker,
because you know what, his willpower is just as strong as Hal Jordan's.
Yeah.
He is that much of a deadly threat that if he wanted to, he can probably take out the Justice League if he really wanted to.
And I think this book was just the beginning for Sinestro too, because in the sequel to Rebirth, they take Sinestro to the next level.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
but in this one, though, it just really firmly reestablishes Sinestro as this great DC villain that DC had kind of been ignoring for a long time.
In a strange way, it wasn't just a rebirth for Hal Jordan. It was a rebirth. It was a rebirth for John Stewart, Guy Gardner, for Sinestro, for the Green Lantern Corps, for Kilowatt, for Kyle Rayner, for anybody was part of Hal Jordan's life, that Green Lantern Corps. Like, it was literally a rebirth of all these characters.
Yeah, they make the Green Lantern Corps like man, they're deadly. Yeah, like you would not want to go up against the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah, respect John Stewart, respect Guy Gardner, respect Sinestro.
Yeah,
and that's what Geoff Johns did in this book. Like, whoa.
I mean, you get moments, guys, early on where pretty much Guy Gardner and John Stewart are talking about the Justice League and their time with them, and they're pretty much talking shit about him. You know what I mean? Like specifically Batman, you know, who is a lot of people's guy, but they're pretty much being like, you know, like that guy's always like one kind of way, and you know, like no one ever really talks like that. But I never read a DC comic book where they kind of talk. Batman's always just up on this pedestal, but these guys are like, nah, man, this guy's very like manipulative.
He's just a man. You know, it's like he's just a man.
Right. You know, he's
we're out there
too big for his britches sometimes.
Like
you know
what I mean? They feel like, you know, we're out there actually in the universe fighting.
Right.
And for some reason we're listening to this one guy.
Yeah.
You know, like they've seen bigger threats in the universe than what Batman's probably ever seen in Gotham.
I think Guy Gardner even tells John Stewart early on, it might be in like first or second issue, but he's like, well, you know, he's not John Stewart's trying to say, well, he's not in charge, and then he's like, yeah, he makes you think he's not in charge.
He makes you think he's not in charge.
You know what I mean?
But he really
is, which is like so. In the comic, this is the version of on this show. You've heard us go a lot of ways about Batman. This is the Batman that I do not like. Look, I do not like this comic book version
said
of Batman.
Batman
That's
probably has
asshole.
the best rogue gallery.
Yes,
we voted.
We agreed on
that. But it doesn't mean we have to like everything of Batman.
Out of all the other superheroes, like besides Superman, like to me, Hal Jordan was the only one that could always talk back to him. Like always stood his ground against him and everything.
Oh, and that primes up premierly in this. Geoff Johns, chef kiss on that, brother. Man, it just gets so much more beautiful because it gets to the point throughout the story in Rebirth where Batman is untrusting. So he's continually not
like, I don't trust Hal Jordan.
Questioning everything. Everything is questioning, and you know
he remembers everything what he did in his past and everything he did. Like, no.
And it doesn't matter what they told him about the Parallax entity. It doesn't matter about any of that stuff. You know,
Batman is pretty much that ex-girlfriend that doesn't let anything go. Batman is the chick that remembers everything you ever did or said wrong ever. You know what I mean? That time that you ate the last French fry, and that's Batman in this series. And I'm like, you know what?
And Batman's had a lot of amazing moments. And to me, the most amazing moment for Batman happened in this. And he had it coming. He had it coming, man.
But before all that, we still get kind of like
look, to me, a hallmark of a great comic book series, a short run like this, like with Rebirth, is that there's moments that make you kind of like in a wrestling match pop. We call it pop. You're like, oh shit. So like, I didn't even know that Green Lantern and on Oliver Queen, Green Arrow had a relationship. They were friends. Yeah. So I learned that. That's cool. And not only that, but we find out that the ring, I guess, that Hal had ends up in
Oliver. He told Oliver, just in case everything happens, please hold on to my ring.
Yeah.
And you know, give it. You use it or give it to someone that can use it.
Yeah.
You know, so Oliver actually has the original ring that Hal wore.
Yeah.
You know, when he was the Green Lantern.
Yeah. Which is, you know, and it's so funny because you guys have been keep saying Star Wars, so it almost makes me think that the ring is almost like your lightsaber, right? Or the Schwartz. But it's cool because when Sinestro does pop back up, it's just Kyle and Green Arrow, and they're kind of like they're on the ropes. You know, Sinestro's kicking their ass.
Yeah, because Kyle at this point is beat up. He just beat up. Oliver Queen can't stand up to Sinestro.
If I remember right, aren't the Teen Titans there too?
I don't remember seeing them. I think they're on their own, man. It's just them two.
Oliver tries to put the ring on.
Fight him too.
Oliver tries to put the ring on. He manages to shoot an arrow from the ring. but it takes so much energy out of Oliver.
Yeah.
And it really goes to show you why it selects the people that it does select.
Mm-hmm.
It needs someone with enough willpower to be able to survive something like that. After he manages to shoot an arrow at Sinestro, it's a weak arrow.
Yeah,
it really is.
But it's a cool moment.
It's cool.
Big arrow,
moment, but it doesn't really stop Sinestro for shit. and Oliver is like drained.
Yeah,
it makes him drained completely. Yeah. Where Oliver is like, golly, like he asked Kyle, is like, is that the way it feels? I feel like man, like I just got beat up, blah, blah, blah. And Kyle's like, yeah, it feels like that
every time. You're pretty much, I mean, you got to think about it like you're trying to force your will into this to do something or whatever.
Trying to make something pop out, and it's just you're not strong enough for that willpower. You get something finally, and it takes so much out of you.
And it's hard too because I think that it's like intangible, right? It's like Green Arrow. He grabs arrows from his quiver and he shoots them. He gets that. He doesn't get like how to make this thing hurt somebody else, work for him. He can't figure it out. And it, I think it is a lot harder than people think. Whatever you have some people say that they're not that creative. I can't do that.
You have that imagination.
You have to be able to do that.
And so while all this is going on, while Kyle is trying to protect the body of Hal Jordan, Spectre is in a battle with Parallax, this entity now. And he's saying that the reason why I picked you, Hal Jordan, is to try to burn out the Parallax entity that's still in you. Parallax is still in Hal Jordan, even as Spectre. Yeah. And somehow Parallax is still able to go one-on-one with the Spectre. Mm-hmm. Finally, Spectre is able to separate Parallax and Hal Jordan, finally. And he gives Hal Jordan a choice. Either you go this way, and you go to heaven, your soul rests, right? Or you can follow this green orb this way.
Yeah.
Hal follows the green orb while Sinestro is kicking Kyle and Oliver Queen's ass.
Yeah.
You start seeing the ring, Hal Jordan's ring, start flying. And it goes into Hal's ring, finger.
His hand, yeah.
And Hal starts saying, man, his body starts feeling more like the muscles start getting warmed up.
Right.
He's like, there's no doubt in my head anymore. There's no more trips that I need to go to. Yeah. There's nothing. He's him again. He's Hal Jordan. There's no doubts in his mind anymore.
And reading that part you're talking about.
We're good.
Okay. Like the best way I could kind of describe the comic book version, it's like almost like in the movie version, like when Cap picks up Thor's hammer in the movie.
Yeah.
And game.
Great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
In the comic book, when you're reading this, like you're so into it, and you're one-on-one with it.
You start getting goosebumps because you're like, holy shit! When he's all like, the muscles are coming back. There's no more doubts in my head about this. I'm fully in control of my thoughts now. Finally, for the first time in so long.
And you're by yourself, and you're like, well, you're losing it. Like, oh my God, it's him.
And then he pops
he's
out.
Back. Hal's back.
He pops out in his costume right here.
You get that great image, man.
Yeah. So he's back from the dead, and he tells Sinestro, pretty much, get away from my friends.
Right.
And that ends like issue 2 or 3, and you're just like, holy shit.
And now
Hal Jordan is back.
Yeah, now you got the Green Lantern is
finally
the Green Lantern again. I mean, it's like there's no more like doubt. There's no more
nothing. There's no Parallax influencing this man anymore. It's him now. Yeah. He's in control again. He's super friend Hal Jordan.
No more white hairs either.
Right.
No more
that was
white
cool
hair.
too. They
He's
take the white hair away.
Hal Jordan. He's that arrogant, cocky motherfucker that you know and love, and there's no more doubts.
Yeah.
And he's ready to take on Sinestro.
I love the way you put it, though, Albert. I mean, like if you're a Marvel guy or just a guy that just likes the movies,
that way. When I read that, it felt that
Thor, way. Thor's hammer and Cap's hands moment. That's a great description. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty
and it's kind of rare nowadays to have that moment when you're reading the comics.
Sure. No, I agree.
When was the last time you felt that moment reading the comics?
Yeah, it's probably been a while. I'd have to think back to really think about it. But yeah, you're reading it for those moments. You know what I mean? So that's awesome.
I think the last time I felt that way was Rebirth, DC Rebirth, when Wally West came back.
Okay.
When he was missing for almost 5 years because of 52. Like when the lightning struck, when Barry brought him back from the Speed Force, that was the moment for me. I was like, that was my Cap Thor.
That's awesome, man. And that's what, we read comics for. That's what we love about these stories, is those kind of moments that you can look forward to.
Yeah, and so the next issue opens up, and it's kind of funny. Like, Sinestro just like punches the shit out of Hal. And, because like Hal's gonna have to get you readjusted again. Right. But he gets up, his nose is bloody, and he's like, he has a smile on his face, like, man, I missed this.
Like he getting hit. That's kind of cool. I like that too. This is
nice.
And it's funny because like with Lantern, with Hal Jordan, there's always that famous punch or that famous moment when it involves his hands or his slugfest.
So like Hal's like, hell yeah, I'm alive again. I can feel him and Sinestro go at it. He finally gets the advantage over Sinestro. Sinestro's like, he disappears into the core, the yellow area where Green Lanterns aren't allowed. And then you finally get to the main event, Parallax. Finally you get this Parallax battle. It's Hal, it's Kyle, it's John, it's God. They all got their rings back. They're going up against Parallax, this fear entity. Mm-hmm. And Hal's back in charge again.
And for a while, with Guy, like you saw, like he was healing he was transferring from the Warrior to Green Lantern and everything.
Right. Yeah. So Guy gets his ring back, and he's arrogant. And so like Martian Manhunter, whenever he reads it, he's like, there's like confidence, like arrogance, and like
Guy Garner is Guy Garner. He's the prick lantern that everybody hates. Yeah.
If any of you have ever seen Dazed and Confused, and Ben Affleck's character, I would say Guy Garner is Ben Affleck's character.
O'Banion?
Yeah, he's that guy you want on your team, but man, you just can't stand that motherfucker.
In our group, that would be your brother boy.
Yeah,
boy, it would be Guy Garner.
But Guy. And it's so cool because once Hal gets all of them together, they kind of explain like how each of them are like so different.
Right.
Like when Kilowog shoots his, like none of their rings make noises.
Yeah.
But Kilowog's is like a cannon. It's like boom.
That's right.
Guy Gardner's his ring is always dripping because it's just his willpower is so strong that he just wants shit to come out.
Yeah. He's waiting.
He's just eager. Just like
John is so meticulous in his thing that he's a construction dude. So
his military background, he's just,
all that. So he's
an engineer. Right?
He's really focused.
Yeah. All the bolts are in there. All the screws are where they need to be in his
small nail details.
In his imagination, everything works just like how you would build a house.
Yeah.
Kyle Rayner is just that artist, that comic book artist. So everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be working right, just looking good. Hal is just the one that needs to get it done.
The spur of the moment, just like, whoa, he's just like,
so
at the moment, he just like,
so it's drawn very beautifully. Like I said,
really great art.
Yeah, it's just, and they're all going up against Parallax, and he starts kind of infecting him. And Hal keeps telling him, "You have to stand up to fear. Don't be afraid of fear." And that's how they're able to overcome Parallax. Just kind of like, don't be afraid, no matter what is trying to get into your head. Yeah. Parallax is trying to get into your heads, trying to make them scared of what they are. And Hal's like, stand up to it. Don't be afraid of fear.
Yeah.
He
even tells him, I think at one point, he's like, don't break the line.
Yeah.
Like, don't break the line.
Yeah.
He believes in all these guys and believes in the reason why they were chosen to have the ring and the things that they can do with it. And they're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I really love that part.
It's a great moment.
John Stewart.
They are giving birth to the corpse again.
Right. It was very cool. That's almost like the image on the back of what book is it? Albert? You have here, like this right here.
Yeah.
I mean, you see him. You see him just kind of like having this moment where they're together.
The corpse.
And it's really rad. I mean, I was like, okay. And this is without me, like I said, having any background with the character, but knowing that they're up against this, fear incarnate, pretty much the living version. It's pretty much been. It's pretty much been just putting doubt in this man that's the best of the best for all this time. And now they finally have a chance to confront it together as a team and show them really why they are who they are, the Green Lantern Corps, and why they were chosen to carry this
because at
ring.
the same time, it's affecting the Justice League. It's affecting Superman. It's affecting Wonder Woman and Batman. They were not picked for Green Lanterns because it's kind of hard to say, but, it's like they can't stand up to fear. It's kind of hard to say that about Superman.
We know that Superman fears losing Lois or his parents.
Yeah, and so like
he's always going to have that.
And Parallax gives him those kind of images of those kind of fears.
Yeah.
But the Green Lanterns are not supposed to be that.
Right.
They're supposed to stand up to that kind of stuff, where fear is not supposed to affect them at all.
Yeah.
Get the job done.
Yeah. In later issues, there is moments where Batman holds the Green Lantern and the yellow.
And I'm not gonna lie, I bought that toy. I don't know where that toy is at, but I have bought that toy of Batman as a Green Lantern.
Oh, that's cool. I never seen that.
Cool there's also a yellow Lantern version.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah. Because Batman instills fear.
But that does make sense. Oh. And see, guys, we missed our moment there to break.
But if you're on YouTube,
then you caught it all there right here. We got some comments in here, so let's go right into the comments. Go right ahead, Albert. We're gonna go up. There we go.
How long is the break?
You got it. You're good.
You're good.
Take your time. Excuse us, guys.
Joe says the Green Lantern Courts movie is supposed to be like a buddy cop movie. Oh, cool. I'll take that. I like Lethal Weapon. I like 48 Hours. I like those.
Don't forget Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch.
Canine. Those both have dogs in them.
Joe says, of course, Batman wins that fight. Richard says, okay, I don't know a lot about DC, but what's the story of Brightburn? That movie, Brightburn. Go up.
I'm sorry, Rich. I went too far. There we go.
That's not part of DC, correct? What do y'all think about Constantine? That story doesn't get a lot of talk. Sorry. I know it's not. Brightburn is kind of like
Rich.
Brightburn is like a twisted version of what Superman would be if he just decided, you know what, as a kid, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
And I choose to do bad stuff.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
it's a funny movie.
Yeah,
no, it's not a part of DC.
No, comic affiliated, but interesting. I think James Gunn has something to do with the production.
Yes, he does. No, he directed.
Oh, he directed. Yeah, okay, but just pretty much. You know how a lot of people rich always say like, oh, what if Superman was bad or whatever? Well, that essentially is the story that this kid has got like a screw loose, whatever, but he happens to have superpowers and he's fucking everything up. You know what I mean? So, Albert, did you watch Brightburn?
Which one?
Brightburn?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's what Richard had a question here about that.
He goes, what do y'all think about Constantine? I love the movie Constantine. Now, Keanu Reeves probably doesn't portray him like the comics. Constantine is more of a
English guy.
Well, English guy, but then he's more like a con artist too. And
okay,
but that story, Richard, that Constantine is based on is based on a Garth Ennis story. Your man, Garth Ennis.
Love Garth Ennis.
So that's pretty damn cool.
Rich, when I saw Constantine the movie with Keanu, I had never read any of the Constantine comics, so for me it was perfectly fine.
It was fine.
I read all the flack it got,
but then I was with you on that. I thought the movie was great.
It's good, but then when you get kind of finding no Constantine, you're like, okay, well, Keanu doesn't really show Constantine's like character traits.
Right.
Would you love to see a part 2?
But I like,
I'd watch it.
But I like the. But I like the movie.
My sister loves it too. We always talk about
every time it's on. I pretty much leave it.
Totally. Yeah. Gavin Rosdale's great.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I recently got asked, Friday night or Foxy Roxy asked me, like, so who my favorite devils, on-screen devils were. And I thought about, my sister has always said, but Peter Stormare as the devil in that one is great. Like, he's like drips with like devilishness. So Constantine, really, really
I like
great.
Constantine. So I'm good. Spectre, I think, is in Justice League Dark. Is he in Justice League Dark? Spectre?
Oh, the anime movie?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what Joe's saying.
God, I don't remember. It's been a while since
Justice League Final Frontier movie has a good Hal Jordan origin. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the anime movie and the comic was great too.
Richard says Batman versus Cap. I think Captain America will win hands down. I'm with you on that one. I'm sorry, but you're going up against someone that has steroids in his body. I'm sorry.
But Bruce Wayne's a millionaire. Just new Cap.
There you go.
Yeah.
Joe says Lantern stay out of Gotham.
Damn. God. Yeah.
Which we haven't even gotten to that part with Bruce Wayne and Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that moment.
Yeah.
Richard says between Marvel and DC, I know there are so many to choose from. In a battle, who would be the last two standing and who wins? We can narrow it down to superheroes and villains that we've already seen in movies only.
Oh, I like that. I'll let you guys answer, and I'm going to break the seal.
All out war between an all-out war between
right here
DC and Marvel.
Who would be the last two standing?
The last two? Wow.
For DC, it has to be Superman, right?
Yeah, I would say Superman.
And then for Marvel, Galactus?
No.
No?
Are we talking about just superheroes or villains?
We can narrow down superheroes and villains.
Oh, okay.
We've seen.
Ah, man.
That has to be Superman, though, right? DC?
If it's Superman, it's superheroes. Superman.
Well, who would you say villain?
God.
Darkseid?
You know what? This is going to go out of left field, and it's because I've been keeping up to date and modern right now. I would say the Batman Who Laughs.
Okay, Batman Who Laughs.
He's a sneaky motherfucker right now.
But Marvel, though.
Marvel? God.
Who would be the last one? Hulk?
Captain Marvel?
Hulk always seems to be the last one surviving everywhere.
Which version of Hulk?
It doesn't matter. He's always around at the last.
Yeah, that's true.
He's always around.
Yeah.
That was Hulk, right?
He was even around Old Man Logan.
Yeah. Even Maestro is like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking, like, which version of him? What about villains?
Villains. For Marvel?
What about Microman or the guy who could change like reality in there? Is it Microman?
Oh, Franklin, right?
Yeah.
Franklin Richards. Franklin would have to be the one from Marvel.
Okay.
Yeah. Franklin and Superman. Are we in agreement of Superman being DC?
Yeah.
Probably. Franklin and Superman. Franklin Richards. That motherfucker is strong.
Yeah.
He can do whatever pretty much he wants. Yeah. Franklin and Superman?
Yeah.
Franklin and Superman, Richard. Richard says, do you think Green Lanterns eventually would turn evil like Hal Jordan did? Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. No. He just got infected.
Yeah. But I think Grant Morrison's still doing Green Lantern right now. I haven't really kept up with that run right now, to be honest with you. One of the good stories that I just finished reading that just ended recently was DC's the Marvel the DC version of Marvel Zombies. It was been really good. If you have something to read recently, if you want to check out something, like I would recommend checking that out. DC's from DC.
And Richard says something really good here. He goes, look how Sinestro turned evil and then Hal turned evil. That's why he's asking that question. Why a Green Lantern? Well, there's two of them right there.
Yeah.
Sinestro kind of abuses power, and Hal just snapped. But yeah, I mean, it's possible you wield that much power. Yeah, it's possible to turn evil. Joe liked the Albania reference. And
Richard, I would love for Kyle to have like a heel turn. I would love
Kyle.
I would love to see Kyle Rayner have like a heel turn, like a bad guy run.
Richard says Days and Confused. Check you later. Days and Confused is a good movie.
Yeah.
Joe says Batman takes the ring a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Joe says Richard watched a Constantine animated movie on HBO Max. He's a big part of Justice League Dark. I remember that. Yeah.
He was also a big part of the DC animated universe.
Yeah.
What was it called? Justice League Apocalypse or something?
Yeah, Apocalypse. Yeah.
Constantine was a big part of that story.
I hear good things about that.
It was a great finale.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, hon. Welcome.
Richard says, yes, I will. It looks great as well. I think DC really stands out for the darker side of comic world. Sure.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I think a lot of the stories we really like from DC are the darker ones.
They've done a great job in the anime movies to be dark.
And Joe says Trigun for some reason. I do like the animated series, Joe. I don't know where you're going with Trigun though.
Yeah. He was a big part of the animated finale of the DC universe of the anime movies.
Really?
Yeah, Trigun was a part of
okay. I don't know that one. Yeah. Never mind.
Guys, can I want to hear, because I stepped out real quick, but can I hear you guys answer to Richard's questions about your last minute standing?
We said it was Franklin and Superman.
Oh, y'all went that deep. Yeah. Okay.
Because Franklin is just super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So last two standing between the two universes?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Superman on the DC side, and then on the Marvel side, I'm super biased, so I'm gonna go with the Silver Surfer.
Oh, okay.
What about villain wise?
Oh, villain wise, on the DC side, I'm gonna go with Darkseid, and on the Marvel side, Doctor Doom.
Oh,
all right.
That one was actually easier. It felt like it came more naturally to me.
What is this?
I know.
Joe says Apocalypse War will bring tears. That's probably to you.
That's probably me. I gotta watch that.
Have you seen that, Cat?
No, I haven't seen it, but I will. I have HBO Max.
Check it out. Yeah, actually, they just added it.
Yeah.
To HBO Max.
All the way down.
Rich, we're at the bottom.
Oh, Richard says, I think DC has more of its superhero turn evil for some reason. Why is that?
That's a great question.
Because they did.
Well, I can I go?
Yeah.
I have a quick answer about it, and my only answer is this, Rich, is because the villains are otherwise so weak. The only way you get good villains is to turn the good guys bad. The good guys are really good. They don't have a problem with that. They just didn't write enough good bad guys.
I was gonna say because they hired a lot of WWE writers.
Hey, sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
Shots fired.
Yes. And then we went there.
Yeah. They did the Roman Reigns heel turn.
Yeah. And then Joe says Trigon. I'm not familiar with this character, but Trigon will be one of the last villains standing. Very interesting. I want to see more, and I want to know about that. I always hear about Magog. Magog was big in the Kingdom Come world, but you know what I mean. Like, and you know what? None of us mentioned. You know what? I need to reiterate my answer. Dr. Manhattan would definitely be standing out amongst there. Dr. Manhattan is insane off the chart.
Joe says, bro, low blow, Albert.
sorry.
Just as Roman Reigns. Yes, babe, we know how. Okay, guys, let's get back into recording the audio portion of the show. We did love reading all you guys' comments. Thank you so much for hanging out with us late, being here. I know I feel like we're in like an extra long one. I realized I didn't switch the mic version on the audio, so we're going to get two different sounds. But hey, what are we going to do, right? We're already there. So, guys, thanks so much for being here with us. Again, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you always miss a big chunk of the conversation. We don't do that to you on purpose. We do that to you because if you're joining us live, we read the comments that come in during the live.
Real quick, Joe says it's a Seth Rollins heel turn to Shane McMahon heel turn.
So in the break, guys, we're talking wrestling and how you relate that to Marvel and DC. But really, really great
The
content.
Messiah. Wait, who would be the Messiah in DC?
Man, the Monday Night Messiah. Golly.
Some really, really great stuff, guys, from our Friday night faithful members.
Joe says AEW, they're all friends, no heels.
They're all best friends.
That's
okay,
true.
guys?
And they don't hide it. Sorry, kayfabe.
And
But
Kyle
seriously,
Rayner would be the perfect Messiah.
Damn, Kyle.
Kyle could be Seth Rollins.
I like your heel turn idea.
Kyle can't turn heel.
Kyle Rayner Parallax too. You know what I mean? You give the second coming of Parallax.
Dude, we got drunk Superman.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah,
anybody could turn heel.
Yeah, that was
Batman
sweet.
Turned the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to go bad. Again, sorry, Rich. The DC guys go bad because there are no good villains. You got to let the good guys are pulling double duty. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to go with CM's answer.
No one liked my answer.
That's the WWE writers.
They got nothing but WWE writers. Bam.
Guys, we're getting right to the end here of Green Lantern Rebirth. Man, what a fun ride it's been. Having Albert Olivarez in the house talking it. That's his guy. He's the DC guy, the resident DC guy, the resident Green Lantern guy.
The resident AEW fan.
I mean, shit, you know?
Hey, I love PWG. I love ROH. I like it. Well, not really so Impact and everything.
You know, if you're listening only to the audio version of this on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, anywhere we're available, I highly encourage you to go listen to the YouTube version.
We should trade rings, Howard, because you're instilling a lot of fear into our audience.
I know. I think give him a couple of the other ones too. Rage. Give him Rage.
Hey, give him the Rage ring.
What else we got there? We've got give him the greedy one too. The green one.
Hey, just give me all the rings.
Give him all the rings. This is the regular Parallax. But guys,
he'd be the one sucked as paralyzed.
Yes, I could feel your fear.
Seriously, guys, Green Lantern Rebirth. Really, really fucking fun story. Where are we about at right now?
Yeah, so
we're about issue 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, so they're all fighting Paralyzed. They're kicking his ass all over the place. Batman is trying to stick his nose in their business. And what does Hal Jordan do to Batman, Albert?
Just a big time.
He recreates one of the coolest moments from the 80s with, what was it? Justice League
International. Yeah.
And if you
where
guys
Guy Gardner opens his mouth too fucking much.
And Batman just
he
one
knocks
punch.
him out.
Yeah. Well, Hal Jordan returns the favor big time and knocks out Batman with one punch.
There's nothing. That moment, I popped big time on that. I geeked. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, shut that bitch up finally.
I might be wrong, but I think he's the only one right now with a record 1-0 against Superman and Batman with one punch.
The Hulk Hogan of DC.
Hulk Hogan of DC.
You don't beat this man without some sort of cheating. Okay. And Hal Jordan did it.
I mean, guys, like literally, like throughout this, like Batman is talking shit. At one point, he even like throws a battering around his like Green Lantern ring, and he's like, "Dude, seriously?" And he's like, "Nah, I don't trust you. You need to sit down."
He kind of like just disintegrates.
Yeah,
that battering.
I think even Superman's kind of like, "Hey, Batman, like, kind of take it down a notch." And like, well, I think they got this. And he's like, "No, I don't trust him." And we're like, okay, Batman, we get it. You don't trust anybody. Like, you're an asshole.
But in a strange way, like when Hal came back as a rebirth, Hal Jordan, it's almost like he became like a Super Saiyan Goku, like a different version of Lantern. Because like he's doing things that are like, whoa, I didn't expect him to do, and he's as cocky as motherfucker as ever, and he's just like, get the fuck out of the way.
It's a big like splash page too, like a big like boom, and like Batman's like going down, all like you're like,
if they would make a poster of that, I would buy that.
Look, for how it's a redemption. It's
big
him
time.
Finally figuring out that it wasn't him that did all this evil. It was Parallax. And he wants his chance at revenge against his Parallax. And Batman is just standing in his way the whole fucking time.
He's pretty much the voice of like every detractor that's been there the whole time, dogging his.
It's like you said, Superman does not say one word about any of this.
Right. Imagine being someone that's like that story where it's like no one trusts you, no one believes you. The whole time you're trying to come back, you're trying to recover from, I don't know, addiction, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's just one person that's always like, no, I don't believe him. Like once a joke, I was like, you're just, you're still a loser. You're still pathetic. You're still weak.
If this was the MCU, he would be the General Ross.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's the guy that's Batman.
Arrest that guy right now.
Exactly. And Batman is just not being cool. He's not being cool. He sucks. He's being an asshole. And he's pretty much pissing on this man's like on his path back. He's trying to do right.
And you wonder why he's gone through so many Robins. I'm just saying.
And finally his comeuppance happens and Green Lantern just lays him down with a big punch. It's awesome. And that's when the corpse pretty much go in, right?
Yeah.
Not the whole corpse, but
not before Guy Gardner's like, oh shit.
That
was for him. That was like redemption for him too.
Not only that too, but we get a cool moment of original Green Lantern, Alan Scott.
That's right.
Because the Justice League is still trying to kind of like come in. And
that's right. Geoff Johns connects.
Circle.
Yeah, he connects.
He makes a circle around the Justice League, like pretty much saying him. Leave the corpse to do their job. Okay. And Superman is not going to be able to get out of this ring. Alan Scott's power is based on magic. Okay. One of the weaknesses of Superman is magic. Okay. So
I like that too. It's kind of just like, you know what? I already know what the moment I'm in. Like,
so Alan Scott's like, you're going to back off. And you're going to let the corpse do their thing right now. So you got a veteran member of the Justice Society, a veteran member of the DC universe stopping the Justice League of America.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty damn cool. I didn't even think about the significance of that moment, but that's pretty damn cool.
And so they go to work.
Johns is deep like that.
Yeah. And they go to work. The corpse go to work.
Ganton is with them.
Yeah,
he's fighting along his corpse member, his guys.
Now, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I am, but I feel like the Guardians are kind of like the Watchers in Marvel.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
sure.
But I thought they could not get involved. But yet,
well, no. It's not that they can't get involved. It's just that they've been in this role for so many centuries, eons, whatever you want to say,
from the beginning of time.
It's like they really don't even remember how to get back into action anymore. It's not like the Watchers where
they become jaded. Like they've been there so long that they're really not emotional and everything.
They're so distant.
Yeah, and that's kind of what led Sinestro to evil too, and how Jordan have his arguments with the Guardians and everything because they've lost their ways. They've been around so long.
Yeah, they've been so long where they let the corpse just handle everything, and
they're like the Jedi Council on their own right.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like the McMahon. Yeah, like you let McMahon retire.
Oh shit, Joe.
Somebody's not gonna let things go right now.
But Ganton fights with his corpse. He actually is with them right there.
Well, because he's the last one, right?
Yes. Yeah. And you know what, man? It's a great climatic battle. It's finally Hal coming face to face with the shit that made him evil, with what left him with the bad name, everything.
And those last couple of issues and pages, they kind of like going back to earlier, that Cap and Thor hammer moment, like they're just popping every page you turn. It's just like whoa, it's just like you're into it and everything. It just like pops and everything. It's just like whoa.
They do a really great job, and in ways it really encompasses everything that you want about reading a comic book, and you want it to have that action and those beats and those moments, and you're like, okay, like it's like the story's really building. And again, even for like me, like a guy that's not as invested in the character as these two, I was able to like get wrapped up into the story and be like looking forward to I'm like, I need to know what's going to happen next. Like,
and it's rare for these moments to happen. Like,
it is. It really is.
Like, oh man, Logan, like I fucking popped the whole series and everything is like, what the hell? Like, no way.
And then when they were finally able to get rid of Parallax, all of them start saying the oath.
Oh my gosh!
When they're finally getting rid of Parallax.
And let me tell you guys something. For me, like I maybe learned that and I didn't learn it, but I mean, like I read that I don't know, probably barely a few years ago. I even really knew that. And every time I read it, it just gets chills. It's so well written. It's so cool. I think it's so awesome. But the Green Lantern Oath is just so neat. But they're pretty much saying it together.
All of them say it, and like Guy has a smile on his face. John has a smile on his face. Kyle has it.
They even write like the laugh in there for like Guy Gardner. He has that little laugh, like And
it was like the first time in a long time those
all of them have said it.
Yeah. It's pretty damn cool.
And if any of you guys know what's the oath, guys?
Well, we should end it on the show. I think. I mean, are we ending the show? Are we done?
But in a way, it's like
we'll do it at the end.
In a strange way, like in Rebirth too, it's like. We never got the full reunion with the Beatles.
No, we didn't. Yeah,
but in Green Lantern, we finally got the reunion.
Finally got all of them.
Yeah,
Kyle's finally one of them. Man.
Right.
Yeah,
that's cool too. Because even
because Kyle never had backup before. Kyle was always solo. So now he has brothers to depend on.
And I don't really. Maybe you guys can help me more understand. But I know when Sinestro first encounters him at the beginning of the series, he's calling him like the alley rat. Yeah, that's where he gets the ring. But he's also Kyle says it too. He's like I'm not like y'all. Yeah. I know fear.
I know nothing. Yeah.
Y'all don't know fear, but I do. Like he almost doesn't feel on their level. You know what I mean? No. So it's very
and Hal
cool
tells him too. He's like, Kyle, you've been flying from one end to the other end of the universe.
I love that part.
You've been fighting and protecting planets. What the hell do you think you've been doing this whole time?
Like in a strange way, like Kyle Rayner became the Lantern with a heart because he was by himself. He didn't know for all those years and everything.
And with that line that Hal kind of like instills in him, Kyle's like, I do belong. Yeah. Because Hal's telling him
that was neat.
You fought for this whole universe.
It was like your stamp of approval. Like the guy that was the GOAT tells you, you're like, just as good. You're a Hall of Famer.
What do you think you've been doing? You've been fighting fear this whole time. What do you think you've been doing this whole time?
That was fucking pretty legit. Would you say that is Kyle like the Dick Grayson that becomes Nightwing?
Oh man, definitely. Yeah,
I think that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty damn cool. It's pretty damn cool. That there's another guy there that could. it's hard to fill the shoes of someone like that. But if there's someone that's going to do it,
and in a strange way, going back to what I said earlier, like when we were saying like Rebirth, like it's the new beginning for all these new characters.
Yeah,
Rebirth was a new beginning for Kyle Rayner because he later on becomes Ion.
Yeah.
And then he becomes a White Lantern.
I mean, pretty much Kyle is considered the Green Lantern. You know,
really? That's awesome.
Yeah, Kyle is that, right? You would say that he's like the one Green Lantern.
Well, it took me a while for me.
No, but in the comics,
in the comics,
it's
and then
written that way.
They established him, especially when he became the White Lantern, Ion, and all that. Like, wow, he was always the chosen one and everything.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, like to me, like Hal Jordan was the warrior, but Kyle was like the soul of the heart and everything.
That's interesting. Yeah,
because he was like in a strange way, almost like so pure.
He's the one that is pure,
right?
Purest Green Lantern there can be.
When does that? What story does that take place?
That's way after Blackest Night.
Which one?
The story you are talking about right now.
The Ion or
White Lantern? When he becomes like the White Lantern.
That's like post Blackest Night.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And so, would you guys say that this story also is what establishes like? There's obviously the Bat family that we're all familiar with Batgirl, Nightwing.
Yeah, this establishes
the Green Lantern family.
I saw it on Twitter. It was funny. Someone put the 4 Corpsmen.
That's
and
nice.
it's Kyle, Hal, Guy and John.
Yeah.
That's the 4 Corpsmen.
I mean, I've never been a Guy Gardner guy. Never liked to never find anything.
I fell in love with Guy Gardner and Rebirth.
I won't say fell in love, but I definitely started saying, okay, I see this guy.
I loved him because he becomes a valuable teammate post Rebirth. He becomes that guy that you definitely want on your team.
Like Guy Gardner will be the guy that goes on that suicide mission. Like he will
do that.
Like he'll do that.
Yeah,
because he has no fear. Like I said, that willpower,
get the job done.
That willpower dripping off of his ring. That's him just wanting to unleash that power.
Yeah, I love how that's written and described. It makes me think about like Achilles. You know what I mean? Like he just wants glory.
Yes,
like, for the glory of it, I'll do it.
Like Hal Jordan's the one that gives the speech. John Stewart would set up the battle plan. Guy Gardner's, he'll suicide mission.
Yeah.
And Guy Gardner's the one you fight for.
Yeah. And that part's written so well too, where Hal's describing about how John built it. Like you said, he's like when John
everything is so meticulous.
Yeah. And he says you can see every screw and every gear that makes what he created works. You can see it. I thought that was very, very neat. And it's very well drawn as well. To be drawing these things is also something else extraordinary. You're having to draw out what this guy's saying about how great this guy's power is. It's a testament. It's a really, really, really great story. I enjoyed it.
Issue 1 on the Green Lantern Geoff Johns run at post Green Lantern Rebirth. Like it just starts off great and everything is just like he's coming back. He's on Earth, and people love him or they hate him, and he's trying to fit in back to the world that he lost.
That he lost. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Guys, I mean, unless there's anything else that you guys want to say on Green Lantern Rebirth.
Guys, just go out there, read it, buy it. It's a really great read. I didn't know anything about Green Lantern, and I fell in love with Green Lantern just by reading this 6-part series. It grabs you. Mm-hmm. It makes you feel what a hero is in comics. It's a reason why Green Lantern is up there with the greatest heroes of all time. He's just a great character.
And most likely you can find all these comics in your local comics bookstores, Alien World, Collectors Authority, Heroes. Just check them out and everything. Most likely you'll find, if you're looking for issue 1 through 100, most likely they'll have them in the back stock. If you're looking for the trade backs, those are much easier.
Mm-hmm. But we always recommend trades. Always. They're just so much easier.
Especially if you're starting out.
They're just so much easier to collect.
The ones these guys both have here sitting around, I'm very curious to read now after having read this story. So for me, I would
Sinestro War and Blackest Night, those are must.
We've talked about the Blackest Night so much.
But the Sinestro Corps War just takes it to a whole nother level.
I have to return for that one.
And we need to do a part 2 breakdown of that one.
I would love that.
That one is great. If you love Rebirth, you'll definitely love Sinestro.
In a strange way, that one we almost have to do page by page because it was so kick ass.
We've done that before.
It was such kick ass.
The villains are so great. You already established the 4 Corpsmen.
and it's a great series. So,
and if you guys ever do a World War Hulk, I gotta be part of that.
World War Hulk would be a good
one of my favorite side issues was Ghost Rider versus Hulk.
Oh, nice.
Nice. That was great. The X-Men versus Hulk. Was Juggernaut too?
Yeah, he stops it.
There's a great side stories because that year I was keeping up with Sinestro War and World War Hulk.
Those were the two big stories. Yeah. And you got two great stories from the two big companies that year.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, this has been one of my favorites comic book breakdowns because it just went so many other places, and especially because of you guys, the Friday Nighters, that made it really great. So you know how we like to close the show? We bring out and read the last bit of comments. We're going to be with you guys.
And we still haven't gotten a cease and desist yet.
Not yet. It's probably on the way though somewhere. So let's get back into the comments, guys. But really, really great conversation regarding Green Lantern Rebirth.
Oh, the breaks were great. The breaks were awesome.
Joe says he likes the indies.
Let me see. Oh shoot, we got
to do a wrestling episode, guys.
Totally.
Right here. Yeah. Finn Balor as Kyle.
Finn Balor as Kyle. Okay. I could see that.
Joe says there's only one ring to rule them all.
Oh, nice.
Joe says if WWE is DC, it's too bad they don't have a Marvel out there.
Damn.
Richard says, would that be the greatest battle for DC with Parallax? It'd be one of them. I would love that. But man, you have to build up Green Lantern to be the hero.
Yeah.
And then turn him evil.
It's got to draw out. You have to tell that story either over 3 movies or maybe over
I got like a really stupid question. Because you know how later on you got like different rings.
Yeah.
The red, the green, the yellow, the purple, and the blue, right? And they all symbolize like hope, hate, all that kind of stuff.
Love, greed.
Do you think the Captain Planet rings could go up against these rings?
That's only one planet.
But they have heart.
They have heart.
They have heart.
Yeah. No, I'm going to say no.
So, I mean, Parallax could be a really interesting character. It'd be interesting if they do it movie-wise, Green Lantern turning evil. That would be...
Yeah. I mean, I
think... would you rather have it a series or...
I would have it rather a series because it could play out a lot better.
If I was going to do it in movies, I would have it build up in the first movie, have some type of small fight, maybe I don't even know what happens at the beginning of the first. Maybe the destruction of Coast City, and then the second one.
That'd be a great opening scene right there.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
The second one is when you're seeing like Parallax, and then in the third one is you have this essentially the rebirth story.
You know, that's another thing we didn't give credit to is DC doing great shows like Arrow. Smallville.
But see, Green Lantern would need to be like a 5-season series almost of like Hal doubting himself,
right?
Cold City being destroyed, him being the Parallax, and then Rebirth, and then the 5th season would be building up the Green Lanterns again.
Yeah,
and I think HBO is the only one capable of doing that. Yeah,
and they're doing great stuff right now, man, for sure. So
Richard thinks. Richard says, "Who do y'all think the Green Lantern? Why do y'all think Green Lantern is not in any of the Justice League movies?" I don't know. I don't know. We said, they want diversity in the group. That's why Cyborg's in there. But I mean, you could have, if you want diversity, you could have easily have gotten John Stewart.
And you get a much bigger heavy hitter with the Green Lantern.
You get something more familiar with Green Lantern. I don't know why they picked Cyborg.
And I think you get a lot better visual stuff out of it.
Like
what he can do and things like that.
I don't know why they never include Green Lantern. It always seems like they focus on Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. I don't know why they
going back way early to the Snyder cut and everything. There's one other issue I always have with the movie. Besides Lex, that guy who plays Lex, was Barry, that Flash. I didn't like the actor. I didn't like
him either. I thought they made him too much like Spider-Man.
I agree with that.
Which sucks.
Really?
Because
to me, they made him so clumsy. They made Barry he was so clumsy.
Well, I don't know why they don't put Green Lantern. I wish they would put Green Lantern. I don't know why.
Replace Green Lantern with Flash.
But even in right? I mean, I don't know.
You know, what's funny though, the thing that they really can't do that now is because they've given us so much Flash that you're like expecting Flash.
We're getting Flashpoint, Michael Keaton, and everything.
I mean, that's
but still, there's like almost no Green Lantern plans. No, like nothing. It's like because of one bad movie, you're just gonna sideline the character just because of one bad movie.
I mean, Spider-Man recovered from Spider-Man 3.
So, what was it we talked about a while back that we were saying
the Hulk
had been
movies,
done with it?
You know, you still put Hulk in there. Yeah. No, but I mean, you still have the Hulk in the Avengers movies. You know,
which I thought Edward Norton's Hulk was good. Was fine.
Yeah,
perfect.
Eric Banner.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else we say? Joe says great deep dive.
Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Richard says, if Hal would have stayed evil, could any of the new Lanterns defeat him? If they did, I must have missed that. No, I don't think any of the new Lanterns. John couldn't have defeated him. Guy couldn't have defeated him. I don't even think Kyle could have defeated him.
But we're talking about the modern version right now. Like,
I don't think there's anyone that could have really
Kyle
defeated
was
Parallax.
either Iron or the White Lantern. I think he could take him.
If Superman can go up against, I mean, if Parallax can go up against Superman, there's no way Iron can go up against Parallax.
Parallax was the ultimate.
Parallax is the ultimate.
I think the new school Lanterns could have taken them down.
And then you got too much. House just has too much experience to go up against Kyle. Sure. You know, I think he will whip Kyle's ass too much.
Yeah.
You see, Rich, and these guys are divided. See, I don't know. So I want you to read these books and you tell us your opinion on that. So I want to know.
In a strange way, like Hal Jordan became the AJ Styles
of Bullet Club.
Right? Yeah, he's too experienced. He knows
I don't think, for me, Richard, I don't think any of the new Lanterns could have beat Parallax Hal Jordan. He's just too damn strong. Yeah, too experienced.
So no other heroes could get involved. It's just Lanterns, right?
Yeah, because I mean, look,
that's the question.
Kyle struggled with Sinestro. Yeah, Hal Jordan doesn't really struggle with Sinestro.
Right.
Yeah. And if I didn't answer your earlier question, Rich, on why haven't they included him, I just don't think they can't do it right. They haven't figured out how to do the Green Lantern right, and so that's why they haven't.
That's why he hasn't Superman or Batman, right?
Yeah. Well, at one time they did, but all they do is go back to the same well, so that's part of the problem. But you got to. It's a complex character, and the power is hard to understand because it was even hard. I was reading it, which normally comics kind of flow in kind of easy into your brain, but I was still kind of like a little bit like what? But then I got on board. You got to be able to get people. And I think that's what Albert's right. A show might be better to do that to get you on board and understanding, because you have to have maybe even a whole episode where you have him kind of manipulating the ring and showing how it works and how you get to work and
start him off in the Air Force. And build up.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
I'd be on it. Yeah.
Let's see. Joe says, I think there's going to be down the line.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
And then Joe says they had a Green Lantern Corps announced, but again, I don't know if that's still on.
Yeah.
And that's the one I heard that was supposed to be centered around Guy Gardner.
Yeah. The HBO Max.
No, I'm all for it if it's just a corpse, because it would be just a corpse storyline. It wouldn't be like a major DC storyline. It would just be like what the corpse do around the universe.
And eventually you can introduce Stewart and Hal.
Well, like I said, I'm down with that, but I like it the way I was writing it, where it's like each episode focuses on a different guy.
Yeah.
Even if you're cycling, even if it just goes like, Hal, Kyle, because Guy,
later,
John, and then you go again.
Because later in the comics, Guy is kind of like the leader of this like special corpse group.
Oh yeah, he does take over, and then he also takes over the Red Lanterns.
Yeah, so it'd be really cool, like if Guy could be the guy. So I'd be down for it, just like the stormtroopers, the ones that were supposed to be focused on the clone,
the Bad Batch.
I'm excited about that one too.
I also like the idea though of like kind of 4 different stories eventually converging, where they maybe eventually at the end of season 1 they understand who they all are. So
Richard says, could Hal Jordan Parallax being so strong take on Darkseid? Yes.
I felt that way too. I felt like it was a pretty powerful entity that could have rivaled it.
It heightens it powers up how Green Lantern so much that he's on that level with Darkseid that he could take on Darkseid.
But I also feel as though like fear is not something that embodies Darkseid in any way.
It doesn't, but it'd be a really cool battle.
There's actually a version.
I'd watch that.
It was a couple of years of Convergence. It was like pre 52 Superman, Parallax, Supergirl, a handful of superheroes taking on the Monitor. Trying to restore and everything.
Okay.
And Parallax survived, pre-Superman 52 survived and all that. And that's how pre-52 Superman got reintroduced to the modern DC universe.
But yeah, this Parallax Hal Jordan is super strong, Richard. If you can get a chance, they're very affordable issues. You can you can pick them up real easy.
So, 0 Hour, Final Night.
0 Hour trade paperback would be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think we've nearing the end of the conversation here on the Green Lantern. Not that I want to cut us off by any means, but we're damn near the 2 hour mark. So
3 hour mark, actually.
3 hour mark. Number one, I want to thank Albert Olivarez for coming into the house and talk all three Green Lantern.
Corporate WWE, corporate AEW right here.
Guys, we also want to thank you if you joined us tonight all the way through the end on the Facebook Live. Yeah. Thank you very much. We have had some great comments and great conversation
great
tonight.
Questions.
Stay warm, stay safe tonight. Have a cold drink or a coffee, whatever.
Or a warm drink.
Yeah. And thank you for watching these guys. Spread the word. Share this video. If you know someone or any businesses, any place, get these guys sponsored. They deserve it. They deserve it. All right, guys.
We would love that. We would totally love that.
Yeah,
guys.
And I'll produce and I'll help with the background and everything.
Tony Khan's cousin Albert.
Oh, Khan.
Damn it, Joe.
Go.
Albert Khan.
Go and listen to us on an audio version just to hear the great intro music that Albert Olivarez does for us. Guys, before we go, I always like to say two things before we go for the Just Another Friday Night podcast, and that is, if there's something that you want to do, whether it's be a Green Lantern or be in the Green Lantern Corps, you got to seize the day. Go and do it. Hal Jordan never hesitated. And he also knew that you have to do whatever it takes to get those things done.
Don't worry, guys. We will do a sequel to this.
We definitely will. Guys, I don't know if we're going to have enough time, but let's try to get it in. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Good night from Just Another Friday Night. And we're out of here.